rescue the future.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
Built tough rising conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install a room. Melbourne taking on Port Adelaide, and we are in Alice Springs, 24 degrees, a beautiful day. About 13 minutes away from starting that as we welcome in for the first time today Ash Chua with all the Triple M Red Z Lending stats. Red Z Lending loans for the self-employed. Just give us a big wrapping of the stats, Ash.
Yes, good afternoon, Brownie. Melbourne, they've lost 4 out of their past 6, whereas you look at Port Adelaide, they've won 8 out of their past 11. Just a concern for the Demons. Look, they're number 1 for time in the front half, 4th for inside 50s. However, they're 16th for goal scoring efficiency. You look at their set shots. Since 2019, they've been ranked 18th for set shots, and this season they're ranked 18th again. We flick over to Port Adelaide. Their scoring capacity, they're only averaging 77 points per game, ranked 15th. That's the lowest points scored under Ken Hinkley, and their lowest since 2012. But past 11 rounds, whereby they've won 8 out of their past 11. They're second in defence, only conceding 62 points per game, and they're only allowing opposition teams to score at 17% goal scoring efficiency, the lowest in the comp. And just one final stat, Brownie. Connor Rosie, past 3 rounds, number 1 rated player in the AF, averaging 23 disposals, just under 3 goals per game, coupled with 7 score involvements.
Nice work, Ash. This is the Triple M Footy preview for TaylorMade Golf, the all-new stealth driver from TaylorMade with up to 60-layer carbon face that delivers unparalleled distance and forgiveness. And about 12 minutes away. Melbourne out, they're unchanged. The medical sub is going to be Luke Dunstan, so Wiedemann, Hunt and Chandler will be the emergencies, and for Port, the outs, Motlop, Dersma and McKenzie. Burgoyne will be the Medi sub as selected as well.
Around the grounds, Brownie, MCG, Hawthorn taking on the West Coast Eagles late in the third quarter. It's the Hawks out to a 14-point lead there, 11-7-73. The West Coast Eagles are 9-5-59. So good game of footy there, but the Hawks seem to be in control of that one.
Can you give us some stats from the MCG, Ash?
For Triple M Red Z, Brownie, 25 disposals to Newcombe, along with Tom Mitchell also with 25. Luke Bruce, 4 majors, along with a dozen touches and a couple of goals for Triple M Red Z to Will Day. Flicking over to the West Coast Eagles, looks like their defenders are racking them up. 23 to Barras, 20 to Hearn, but Andrew Gaffey's picked up 20, and they're only multiple goal scorers for the Eagles. In fact, they have 3 players to kick 2, Shuey, along with Kennedy and Waterman.
How's Mitch Lewis going?
Mitch Lewis for Triple M Red Z, Brownie, as we have a look on the stat sheet on this baby Coco system. Mitch Lewis, is that a trick question, Brownie? Here we go, 8 disposals. And just the one behind.
I didn't realise it was going to be that hard, eh?
No, neither did I. But
thanks very much. And a live ladder. Just update us on the live ladder, please.
Big game, obviously, but for Melbourne and Port Adelaide. So Melbourne pressing for a top 4 position or possibly top of the table. So at the moment, Geelong are 1 game clear. They're on 52 points. Then we have 4 teams on 48. Melbourne, of course, a game in hand. They're only 4% or 3.5% behind the Cats, followed by Brisbane, Fremantle and Collingwood sitting 5th. 2 teams on 44. Sydney and Carlton were sitting 7th, and then we have 3 on 36 points. Richmond sitting 8th, only on percentage, followed by the Bulldogs and St Kilda. And Port Adelaide, Brownie, they're currently 1 game outside with the 8 wins.
And 7% or 6.2% or 6.4% it is, Ash. So in a margin term or goal scoring, how much do you have to win by or lose by to account for 6%?
Obviously, it depends on the state of the scores, for and against. But, Port Adelaide probably need to knock over a 12-goal win thereabouts.
12-goal win?
Yeah, we'll stick with that, and they might be able to find their way in the 8.
But more importantly, they win this game, and they are just percentage outside of the 8. So they are still coming there. They are one of the form teams of the competition. Duck, we heard Chu talk about Melbourne have lost 4 of their last 6. We heard Adam Uze, which I thought pricked my ears, was quite interesting. To answer Ross's question about where their game has sort of let them down, he said all phases. They need to get better, both defensively, offensively. In particular, their contest work has still been pretty solid, Ross. But that was interesting. He didn't seem overly confident about how they were playing. It almost seemed to me like they know they've got some real work to do if they want to get back to the pointy end of the season.
Well, the interest, I remember a Lee Matthews quote a few years ago. He just spoke about teams' reputations on the positive we're slow to recognise it, and then when they arrive. But then when they're actually on the decline, we're slow to recognise that as well. And I think their form's got some real concerns. I think, when you're leading the pack, teams break you down a little bit. there's no doubt harmony helps, friction fractures. So any way you cut that off-field incident, it wasn't great, right? And I don't think May's forms be the same. Teams have figured them out a little bit. They're not as big as they were, and they played a big man game down the line in between. They're controlling Langdon and all those guys. So they got concerns.
It's going to go to Benedict Stevens for the welcome to country.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benedict Stevens. I'm one of the traditional owners of Alice Springs and Bandua. First of all, I'll have to acknowledge my senior elders, past and present. So today I'd like to welcome you to Aranda country on behalf of the Western and Eastern and Central Aranda mob. We welcome you all to Alice Springs and Bandua. Thank you. Kala. Thank you.
It's been a sad week.
As the players start to move out of their positions, 24 degrees, as we said, okay, let's get into full game mode now. Port Adelaide up against the Melbourne Footy Club. Can Port Adelaide cause an upset, Duck?
Yes, they can. In simple terms, Brownie, there's no doubt. As Joey's already said, they're in some pretty good form. I think their best is certainly good enough. This is a team that we expected to finish in the top four.
Yes.
Now, they haven't been able to do that because of the start, but I agree with Joey. I've been on their bandwagon all when they lost those first five. I jumped off, I reckon, 4 weeks ago. I'm now jumping back on. That's what we do in this industry, don't we, Joey?
Triple M Harvey Norman replay screen. David Neitz just rubbing his head. He looks quite hot at the moment, David Neitz, but just enjoying a good can.
Yeah, I've seen a few faces up there.
Darryl White in the crowd as well. Neil Danaher.
Lewis Martin. Neil Danaher has made the effort. A lot of faces up there. I think I'm always worried when you sell games to areas, but I think what the AFL do and get up into Alice and these remote areas and promote the game and help the community and all of those things, I think is fantastic. If Melbourne lose this game, mind you, and they could have played it at the MCG and they missed top four, for instance, they'll be really disappointed. But yes, they can win, but I do think Melbourne will start to really screw down and find some form.
Chu, just following on from Duck's point, what is Melbourne's record up at TIO Stadium in recent years?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. They've won 3 out of their past 4, but Port Adelaide are 3 from 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Back to our earlier conversation, where are Melbourne at? If you said at the start of the year about premiership, sating the appetite, their pressure's gone from 1st to 13th and their tackles have gone 1st to 14th. So when talent's equal and they're playing a talented team, it's the hunger and the desire without the ball. And any way you want to spin that, our game's not working. It's not working because your pressure and your hunt's not the same. Unless they fix that, they're going to be in trouble today.
It makes it harder to defend, doesn't it? If you're not applying the pressure, it makes it tough for you to defend. And it makes it harder to score because you're not winning the ball back as easily and getting better looks at goal.
Well, they're interrelated, aren't they? Like that pressure allows May and Lever to play their game. That drops off. You can get it in between the lines and over the top and around. And then conversely, when they're taking the intercepts and turning it over, you're out. And neither's really been happening. And teams are matching them at the source. A bit like Carlton. You match them at the source, you go a long way to beating them.
Clayton Oliver out for the first time since 2016. Ross, who do you come back through the midfield? Who replaces Oliver in there? Because we're hearing Brayshaw's been screaming out for midfield time, but he's still the number one intercept mark player in the competition. I know he doesn't want to play at half back, but it seems like that's his best position.
Well, he's a star, isn't he? I'm looking for Viney because when he was made captain, he's hard as a cat's head and steps up. I reckon Joey knows who could go in there a little bit better than me.
I'm thinking this sets up beautifully for Tom Sparrow. I think the kid is an inside mid who just can't get a crack at it because of the depth they've got there. Luke Dunstan's the sub. I would be surprised if Tom Sparrow's not the one that gets more of a crack in the midfield
we
today.
We spoke on Sunday footy, I think it was maybe round 2 or round 3, to Simon Goodwin, and we asked him, who do we keep an eye on this year from Melbourne? You've won the grand final last year, and he said, I think Tom Sparrow is going to become a real player this year.
Well, he's a ball winner and he's a goal kicker as well.
I think they've got so many options if they wanted to get creative. I mean, you could seriously say, you know what, Brayshaw, Angus, go in and have this game a little bit more in the middle of the game. I know they don't
Might help him re-sign.
No, but just do they Harms, take on a bit more of a role. So they do have options.
And James Jordan plays inside mid as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. But it is a big
Cozzy Pickett might get some bit more time to run through the midfield.
Game. And I tell you what, I just looking at the Harvey Norman there and watching Cozzy Pickett, there's a real spring in his step.
Yeah.
You can tell he really wants to perform, and I'm really looking forward to this game. It's going to tell us a lot. It really is. If Port can win, as you said, they're still alive. And Melbourne, well, if they really strong performance today against Port, and now we're saying again, Melbourne.
They'd love to get their forward cohesion together again, Duck. And I know Tom McDonald is out, and he was a big part of that last year. And we're sitting here having the conversation at this time last year. Okay, you're going to play Ben Brown or you're going to play Wiedemann? And obviously they went with Ben Brown, and the rest is history. They won those games after losing to the Dogs. It was probably around this time of year, around 17-18. They lost to the Dogs and then won the next 7 in a row.
Well, think about it. It was Brown, Jackson, McDonald. Then you had Fritches the fourth, and it was Jackson or Gawn. But now there's no McDonald. They haven't brought Wiedemann in, and you're going smaller. It doesn't make sense to me with what their game style is. They're going to have to move the ball differently. Haven't got those tools. And Port's weakness is the tools, right? So let's look for Jackson and Gawn and all those blokes and Brown to dominate today, because they should.
And the other, what they need is they need Brown to play. And I said this halfway through last year when he got back in. They need Brown to play like he did last year. And unfortunately this year he's gone back into a few old habits in how he played back at North Melbourne and early days at Melbourne. Well, he just gets pushed off the ball too easy, right. Not strong in his body. I think he doesn't compete as well in the air, so therefore the ball's inconsistent where it drops. So if he can get back to that with Gawn pushing forward, and as Joey picked up with Adam Uze when we spoke to him a little earlier, that hybrid type might come into play, and then your Melchams and your Fritches and those mediums that can play high, that might be the way they go.
Does this point to Wiedemann needs to leave? Because if he's not playing...
You think so?
They need to exit him.
Choice Hotels around the grounds, Ash.
Thanks, Brownie. It's Hawthorn by 20 points over the Eagles, 2 minutes into the final quarter, and Luke Bruce has just nailed major number 5.
Just rolling back the years, Luke Bruce at the moment, so not far away from this one as I'm hearing Thunderstruck playing around the ground, Duck. This was massive in the early 90s in Bendigo.
Was it?
Oh, mate. You used to go to Hot Gossip, and this was on every time. Look at that new dance crap they play these days. It was AC/DC, and it was headbanging.
Yeah, I didn't mind the AC/DC.
There would have been no blues in that joint, Brownie.
Shook me all night long.
Yeah,
probably
good one too. Good one too. Okay, Ash, who's your tip?
I'm going for Port Adelaide, actually, Brownie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ross?
Oh, look, it's a flip of the coin. I think Melbourne could pull it out here.
Duck?
Melbourne.
Duck. All right. For McDonald's, 100% Aussie Angus beef and a chunky tomato relish. Catch a mighty Angus at Macca's today. First quarter about to get underway. For McDonald's Room Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy is Lee Montagna on Triple M.
We've built tough Aussie conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install a ream. There's no need for the hot water today up in Alice Springs. Beautiful conditions, perfect day for football. Charlie Dixon going to start in the ruck against Max Gawn. Tom Sparrow is in the centre bounce along with Petrarca and Viney. For McDonald's and Room Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy. There is Christian Petrarca with the first centre clearance, and it's a big torp that's gone all the way into the forward pocket. Aliir comes across, knocks that ball out of bounds. Melbourne going to the right of the broadcast.
Hold the meter.
Good strong forward line too for Port Adelaide. Todd Marshall, Georgiades.
Ground looks like carpet, Joey, doesn't it?
Beautiful. Looks magnificent.
Looks very short.
Ben Brown going to do the ruck work inside 50 for the Demons. Ups against Charlie Dixon, who's been good since he's been a ruck. Quick kick from Dixon. Gets to the defensive 50. Sparrow and Powell Pepper. Good hard contest. Viney feeds the handball back to Salem, who goes for a little pokey kick, and it's marked by Cozzy Pickett, who ducks and had that little spring in his step.
Told you.
He's going to want to play a good game today, and that's a nice start for Cozzy. He'll have a shot from 30 out, just inside the boundary line.
He just watching him right through the warm-up, Brownie, and he just had a real spring in his step in Alice Springs.
Stop hitting me.
So Cozzy Pickett, beautiful backdrop here. TIO Stadium to get Melbourne off to a perfect start. Goes for home, strikes it nicely, just goes across the face. First score on the board. They're one behind. Port Adelaide get the score. That's for McDonald's. 100% Aussie Angus beef and chunky tomato relish. Catch a mighty Angus at Macca's today.
Houston, the best kick at Port Adelaide to do the kicking in, so he plays on.
He's had a good year, Houston.
Goes wide.
Joey?
He certainly has, Duck. And he gets the ball to Burton.
So's Burton.
Yep.
Burton, quick kick, touched off the boot, play on. Bo, called to play on now. Feeds the handball back towards Burton. Burton puts the ball on the boot, goes to half forward, bouncing ball. Into the middle they go. Powell Pep with an opportunity. He run onto it. Brayshaw behind him. Brayshaw takes him out of it, but Porter got the numbers. Dixon comes up full-chested. Got the handball out. Slipped out the back. Houston followed up his really good work. Back to Powell Pepper. Runs the arc and pumps it back inside forward 50. The kick is good to Boak. Didn't quite get inside forward 50, but this one does. Really good kick from Boak. Into the pocket. Touch play on. They got it to Butters. Butters almost fell over. Rosie did in the end. And the Demons will clear the area through Salem.
So Salem in the back pocket, happy to go long and high. Bailey Fritsch was outnumbered by a couple of Port players, and it was Amont who took the mark, tried to go inboard quickly. Chopping it off was Petrarca. Centre half back for the D's. Got the zinc on. Warm conditions. He goes across the ground to Tomlinson. Back into the side in recent weeks and short to James Jordan. So they transition the ball, Melbourne. Patient build-up. And Jordan goes long down the boundary line, a bit too far, in fact, looking for Melksham. Out of bounds on the foot. That'll be Cleary.
Well, it's been a tepid start, hasn't it? Both teams kicking into the man on the mark, turning it over. They just need to execute their skill level here.
Cleary, a short ball to the Brownlow medalist in Wines, who transfers play back to the defensive 50. Darcy Byrne-Jones. Not sure what you'd call that sort of haircut, but it's full on.
Shag.
Shipping the ball, and they move it forward. Butters chips it to centre wing. Houston had a fair bit of it early, gave it back to Darcy Byrne-Jones. He's got a runner on the outside, gives it now inside forward 50 goes Drew. It's a high up and under ball, tough one to mark, but not for the Pig Hibbard.
Play on, play on.
He won't like these conditions, the Pig Hibbard. But he started well, steps around Finlayson, goes along the boundary, good kick, finds his good mate and Stephen May, who wheels on that left boot. That's a beautiful kick as well. Good transition here by the D's. Ben Brown over to Melksham. This is how they want to move the footy. Now the important kick inside 50. Melksham tried to go on the left. There was a grubber. Pickett was out the back, but Jonas was able to get back and get it out of bounds.
Well, he's disappointed, isn't he, there? Isaiah Pickett, he ran 80 metres into the backspace, and Melksham just had to get it over the man on the mark. It was a lay-down misère.
There was 3 beautiful kicks to get there. It was just the last kick from Melksham that let them down, which has been an issue for the D's. That inside 50 kick. So Dixon and Brown again. Brown just throws that down to Tom Sparrow. Umpire all over
Charlie
it.
Dixon, Port Adelaide.
Free kick back to Big Charlie.
Stand.
Back pocket.
So Dixon getting all the way back in the defensive end, chips the ball sideways. Jonas to Houston. Houston numbers early, Ash. Triple M Red Z lending.
4 disposals.
Had a good start, Houston. Dangerous kick, but a good one. Got Powell Pepper. Opened up the ground. Gets the handball on. They run and carry through Mead. Mead's handball was okay at the feet of Marsh. Was able to pick it up. High ball. Only Max Gorner's back there. Marks on his chest. Finlayson couldn't believe it. Arns out. Saying, what about me?
That's why he's the best ruckman in the competition, because of that work rate to get back into that hole as quick as he did.
Here's the running man, Langdon. Short sleeve, as Adamuzze told us. Not the best kick, and it goes out of bounds with Rosie. The boundary throw in on the 50. Melbourne have 1 point. Port Adelaide yet to score.
Well, we spoke about pressure coming in, but it's an up and down the ground quarter at the minute. Both teams moving the ball freely. I don't know what the pressure ratings are, true, but there's plenty of up and down football going on here.
Melbourne 171, Port only at 146.
There wouldn't have been many tackles yet, Chu, as the ball's thrown in.
Yeah, tackles are very lean. We've only had 3 for the game all to Melbourne.
Viney, another good kick, finds Ben Brown on the wing.
What are the dimensions of this ground? It looks like a big ground.
It's Neil Bullen. They're getting some space here, Melbourne. This is the kick inside 50. Finds Fritsch, 45 out. Took the mark, played on, ran towards goal, and then sprayed it across the face.
He had Spargo. Was that
Well,
He's building a reputation here, Fritsch.
It's the one thing.
Yeah. Spargo was in the goal square on his own, just should have chipped it to him.
Correct.
Gee, he
burnt-
want to tidy that up in his game, wouldn't he?
He burnt Petrarca with a handball, a real obvious one a few weeks ago. It's
I'll get those
creeping into into his game.
measurements for you in a minute, Duck. I didn't step it out before the game, but Petrarca burst his way through. Left foot, Cossie Pickett went to go up the ground, couldn't. And now they rush it through for one behind. The Demons are two behind. Port Adelaide get the score. That's on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. IJ Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
You can generally tell, obviously, length from the square to the 50, so it looks about the same length as the MCG, but it looks wide. It's like a big ground,
Yeah, it is wide.
they're finding the space, aren't they?
Looks a bit Subiaco-ish.
Either way, it's a real strange sort of start to this game as Burton kicks the ball towards the wing. Brayshaw couldn't take the mark. Now a chain of handballs from the power. Butters to Drew down the line. Finds Todd Marshall, the man in good form, in front of Stephen May. 80 metres out. Kicks it towards 30 out from goal. Where the players at ground level. James Jordan's got back in defence for the D's. On the wing, kicks a wide ball. Ali will be first to get to it. He's got Melksham bearing down. That's why Jacob Melksham's in the side. Nails him holding the ball.
Ash, Triple M, Red Set Lending.
Yeah, those dimensions. So this ground here is 163 in length. The G's at 162, and the width is this ground 135. The G's at 139.
So the G's wider.
Slightly wider, yep.
So it's a sort of normal size ground.
Pretty similar.
Yeah. So
1 metre long.
Yeah. 1 metre long, 4 metres.
Joey?
It's that last
It's not
metre.
an illusion.
It's that last
Let's
metre
be
that
honest,
kills you.
when you don't have grandstands and you've just got a little wire fence,
Yeah.
it looks bigger.
It does. Visually, it looks bigger.
It's an optical illusion. So a boundary throw in. Demons have done most of the attacking. Ben Brown does the ruck work against Dixon. Gray, Rosie playing more midfield time, eye up and under the centre wing, getting underneath it as Jackson, and he marks it comfortably.
Well, Port, they're having entries, but Melbourne have already taken 3 intercept marks, so that last kick, they're going to have to fine-tune. Otherwise,
Tomlinson down the line to Joey's man.
they're not going to score.
Sparrow. So Sparrow, about 80 metres from home, up against the boundary line. Gawn is forward. Can he get it there? Into the pocket, not a great kick. And Jonas just casually trots out and marks it. Big Tom. Short ball, and he finds Darcy Byrne-Jones, the best and fairest winner.
So Byrne-Jones still in the defensive 50. Not a lot happening. Both teams maybe trying to conserve a little bit of energy.
Somebody's got to have a chat to him about that haircut, Duck.
Yeah, it's not flash.
Play on.
So Tom Jonas is going to kick towards the one little bit of shade on this whole ground, and Stephen May runs 30 metres, comes over the top, gets a big fist out of bounds.
Joey Triple and Red said only 23% of the possessions have been won in a contest. The AFL average is 38,
Yeah,
so that's way down.
Real uncontested sort of game. This one, the Red Z Lenders, loans for the self-employed, Red Z Lending. Harms tried to play for a free kick.
Holding the footy, that
I
should be.
said no.
So if it becomes a game of circle work, who are we backing in here? Port playing out more outside game?
I don't think Melbourne want to play circle work.
Then it is a toss of the coin, isn't it?
Stoppage. Rosie been in super form. Got it to Houston, who Duck told us has been in good form this year. Neil Bullen, handball to Jackson. That should be holding the ball. Didn't get that away legally. Umpire let him play. Spills back to James Jordan. This is a bit of pressure from Port Adelaide. Rosie in there. Well done, Lever. Went in and won it himself. Sparrow off the ground. Robbie Gray with a bit of class. Gets the 1-2. Tried to ride the Harms tackle. In the end goes out of bounds. So
Well, he couldn't kick it forward. There was 2 Melbourne players back on the key forward, so he went to kick, and he's pointing it out now. We need to reset, boys.
Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super making hard work pay off as always on a Sunday. Ross Lyon, Wayne Carey. It's a D's 2 points. Port Adelaide yet to score. We've played 10.5 minutes in this first term.
Dixon doing a fair bit of ruck work early up against Jackson, and the ball on centre wing. Have a ball up.
Geez, I reckon Harms has laid 4 tackles already, man. I know you said not a lot of tackles, but he's had 3 or 4.
Yeah, he's had 3 tackles for Red Z.
There's Harms being tackled. The ball popped out towards Drew. Tumbled one inside forward 50, and coming out, taking a comfortable mark was Tomlinson. Switches play. He's got Langdon in his customary role, the release player and the defensive wingman. Short ball finds Hibbert on the defensive 50. Hibbert's got a short player on, and he chips over the top now. Spargo. Still got torch marks on him from when Fritz didn't give it to him. Down the line, not a good kick. Paul with an opportunity to get it back. Carl Amon gave the handball off to Bonner. Bonner fumbled it, and that allowed him to get tackled. That'll be holding the ball.
Oh, there you go. That was a Jack Ginnivan.
Yeah, he leant with his left shoulder into the tackle, didn't he? If the umpire didn't pay it.
But also Viney was careful with not going too high.
So the Jack Ginnivan rule there. Ping holding the ball, the Port Adelaide player.
But tackled correctly.
Viney, half back for the D's. Again, just going to go long down the line. Real sort of flat start to this one.
Melbourne, Max Gorn.
Gorn's going to get a free kick, holding in that marking contest.
That's 50. Oh.
And then the ball did miss Gorn, who didn't really make an attempt to take it.
Didn't put his arm completely
The
out.
umpire said, come on. Come on, Gorny. So Max Gorn's going to wheel, drive this inside 50 into the pocket. Big pack of players, and in the end, nobody flew. Rosie stood at the back. It's a real bizarre start to this game. 12 and a half minutes played. Melbourne 2 behinds. Port Adelaide yet to score.
What are the inside 50s, Stu?
Yeah, they're 6 all, Duck.
Yep.
Yeah, need to improve. I reckon Ross might drop off.
I'm worried about Duck. He's going out after this.
He has to get up and about.
I can see your kit. You got to go an out kit on.
Mate, I've got
He's got enough perfume to go out. Cleary to Bonner to Burn Jones at half back. You're definitely going out, Duck.
It'll be perfect by about 8. Bit overpowering now.
You've got a jacket on. You've got a black shirt underneath, which is a youth boy size 16.
Oh.
Turnover, opportunity now for Cossie Pickett. Picks it up, 55 out. Looks at the goals and then says, nah, I've got better players on. And Jackson just drops into a hole. And it was well done by Pickett.
And turned around and said, Fritchie, that's how you do it.
So, a really flat start so far. The Demons are 2 behind. What are the inside 50 numbers, Ash? It feels like the Demons have done
7-6.
the most of the...
Ask that question.
Okay.
Spot on, Duck.
I thought Melbourne had done more of the attacking, being +1.
Be a better listener.
They've had 4 of their last 5 entries, Brownie.
Yes, that's why, Ash.
Yeah.
So here's Jackson. He'll cross the 50 and kick from about 48. The mountain's behind him. It's a nice kick at goal. Can it hold its line? No, off to the left.
It's quite off-putting, that big mountain behind him, isn't it?
1 behind, 3-point lead.
He's gone down the tattoo.
Yeah, the McDonald Rangers.
Liberatore type tattoos there, are they? A little
That's
bit of homemade.
the McDonald Rangers behind the goals, Ash. Duck?
McDonald.
The McDonald Rangers.
Yep.
Beautiful backdrop to this one as the kick in from Port Adelaide. They get up towards the wing. Rivers, wrapped up by Powell. Pepper, good tackle. Umpire let him play. Could have been holding the ball. Brayshaw sold May into trouble. Powell Pepper went and got it again, and a chain of handballs from Port Adelaide. They do it nicely. Frees up Burton to have a look at the game. Spots Rosie getting into space. Had to go back. Jake Lever came off his man. The umpire paid the mark or the free kick. Either way, Rosie takes the advantage from the corner of the junction. 50-metre boundary line, top of the square. James Jordan whacks that through. First score of the afternoon for Port Adelaide. They're 1 behind. Melbourne 3 behinds.
And there just seems to be a lot of uncontested marks being taken in this game. We're only halfway through. What are the numbers looking like?
Yeah, so teams average about 20 per quarter. We've already had 23 each for both teams, so 46 combined. All of them uncontested.
Choice Hotels around the ground, Tash.
Around the grounds, Brownie, it's Hawthorn leading the Eagles by 17 points, 18 into the final team.
Book direct and save, choicehotels.com. Max Gawn at half-back, big mark. Jake Lever going off the ground after that clash with Connor Rosie, holding his shoulder straight under the rooms. So that's for Bob Jane Team Arts. Looks after you by 3, get 1 free plus instant cash back on top tyre brands. Call 13 26 25 or order online today, bobjane.com.au.
The Power just transitioned the ball from one side of half back to the other again with a lot of uncontested marks, but not really going anywhere. Kick on the 45 into Ollie Wines, point of the square, half-back switches the play, finds Houston. So again, a patient build-up. They're trying to avoid kicking a Max Gawn down the line. Finlayson got some separation on Gawn and then pokes it over the top to Gray. So they work their way to about 55 out from goal. Now Max Gawn tries to drift back, so again they go short and find Carl Amon, who can have a ping from here. He's going to have to kick this 52 metres just inside the boundary line, but he does have a nice left leg.
The other thing it does, shifting the ball, the double switch, the Melbourne team defence continually got to roll across the ground. So in this heat, it might break them down over time.
So Carl Amon from just outside 50 goes for goal. It's a good attempt. It's a great attempt. The umpire said it was brought back into play right on the goal line. Didn't even review it. So it'll be the Demons through half-back, through Ed Langdon, only as far as Cleary. Quickly brings it back to Ollie Wines, 60 out. He now goes into the pocket. Todd Marshall flew. Fist came in over the top from Tomlinson. Ball will be thrown up, 35 out.
It's deceiving with the background, isn't it? You think the ball's going longer and or shorter at times than what it actually is.
Stepping into the Triple M Harvey Norman replay of Jake Lever. It's one of those ones where you land heavily, but you land with your hand and your palm on the ground first, and there's a big jolt into the shoulder region. So keep an eye on that for Bob Jane Team Us. But Tracker from the restart got it to centre wing. Juggling mark by Ben Brown was really good on the 3 bites in front of Alia. Ben Brown goes lateral to Viney. Point of the square at half-back. Goes all the way back to defensive 50 to Frothies. He goes short. He's got a player on. Brayshaw, centre wing. Centering ball now. This is the dangerous one. It's okay, though. Diving was Rivers. Got up, had enough time, and then boot the ball to half forward. Ill-directed. Opportunity for the power. Bergman, nice name. Got the ball back. And now they clear the footy.
Butters kicks it backwards 20 metres because he was under pressure.
A smart play, wasn't it? Great composure.
Found Riley Bonner. And Port Adelaide again will look to be patient. Kick inboard. Good one to Marshall. And they'll transition it again, Port Adelaide. So they are really stretching this Melbourne team defence, but they're not really going anywhere. Just the one behind so far.
And I heard Brownie label it. I liked it, the defensive swing during the week. Teams roll around.
Houston, beautiful kick down the line to Mead, who's wrapped up. Rossi, keep going.
Well, that defensive swing, they've got to keep rolling around across the ground. And in the heat, it could take a toll.
Just looking at the Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Jake Lever going down with that injury. Well described by Nathan Brown. Get that assessed. The last chance to receive a bonus gift card on selected home appliances at Harvey Norman Shopping Store online. From the boundary throw in, Port Adelaide streaming through was Travis Boak. Ran inside 50. Finally, after 18 minutes of play, we have our first goal. And it's the superstar in Travis Boak. They go to 117 to Port Adelaide. Melbourne 3 behinds. That's on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. IJ Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
Well, they needed that, didn't they? They've been inefficient, running at 10% on entries. So but they've got a clear strategy. We're not going to kick it to Melbourne Tools down the line unless we absolutely have to. We're going to work the defence, and we're going to try and pass it inside 50. When they're forced to go long early, Lever and May took intercept marks, so really liked it. This is from a stoppage, though. So May sitting off Marshall and just a quick give off a ground. He's very clean, Marshall, isn't he? That's his second pick-up from the ground. Just real composure. Both spread away from the stoppage was elite.
He's had some really good games, Marshall.
For McDonald's, Remont Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Boak gets the first one for Port Adelaide. The Demons go inside forward 50. Going back was Houston. Bouncing ball opportunity. Neil Bullen picked it up. Handball backwards. Melcham missed it. Boak played for the free kick. Wines was in there. Couldn't pick it up. Houston's over it. Needs to get it out. Needs to get it out. The umpire's not going to pay it though. Going to have a ball up just 50 metres out from goal. Demons in attack. Choice Hotels around the ground, Ash.
Thanks, Brownie. Hawks by 12 points over the Eagles, 22 into the final term.
Mead wrapped up in a tackle. We'll ball it up again.
Charlie and Luke, hold the meter, please.
4-point lead to Port Adelaide.
Charlie, hold the meter.
20 minutes gone, first term. Dixon got the tap, but only as far as Harms. Spargo inside forward 50. It's a low darting ball, and eventually Ben Brown slapped it back to Viney, and Viney gave it up to Burton. Burton, long ball outside defensive 50, looking for centre wing. Got out the back of Mitch Georgiades. Hibbert tried to paddle it on, didn't do so well. Georgiades, he was tackled by Hibbert. Coming back in was Jackson. Jackson picked it up. Spargo's hands were sharp.
Rivers, handballs to Harms, who's just got a little bit of time and space. And he goes wide, finds Jackson, who's now in the ruck. Big Maxi Gawn having a stint on the bench. And Jackson, just in that little bit of shade from the grandstand here, TIO Stadium, goes long down the line. Ben Brown didn't try and mark it. Just put the one hand out to bring it to ground level for a soft drop. And then again, that was his second throw.
It was bizarre, wasn't it? He just accepted I've got to throw the ball here.
And Amon's going to take the advantage along the boundary line, kicks to space. Georgiades has got the wheels on Hibbert. If the ball sits up, he had the space, but well done. Adam Tomlinson, left his man, came across, got it out of bounds. Good bit of play by Adam Tomlinson and the Demons. Will have it thrown in 60 out from the power goal.
That's the support you want as a defender, isn't it? He was in all sorts of trouble.
But Yep, the ability of the modern-day defender to leave their man, come forward and help out is elite.
Dixon tried to shove Jackson out of the way to grab it out of the ruck. Goes low anyway. Couldn't get a clean disposal. Viney, he was wrapped up in a tackle. Good pressure now. And Port Adelaide end up winning it. Burn-Jones feeds it back, and now Jonas is going to go into the pocket. Powell Pepper's lurking. Marshall at the back. And then the ever-safe and reliable Brayshaw just mops it up and finds the uncontested mark.
Langdon in the short sleeves, gave it back to Brayshaw, who kept running. Brayshaw with the right foot, that's an elite kick. He got it out to Neil Bullen at half-back. So Neil Bullen up against the boundary line, reels around now, and Pike calls him to play on, and he goes towards centre wing. Jackson will be the flyer, fisted away from him. Petrarca at ground level, beaten to it by Burn-Jones. Burn-Jones puts it back inside forward 50. Marshall opportunity, and Marshall delivers. Really good mark up against Tomlinson, and he'll kick for Port second.
Well, it was a strong mark, Brown. He backed back and held the spot.
Yeah, just a little bit of an elbow too. Just threw the elbow back a little bit just to give himself a little bit of room. And
yeah, he got separation, didn't he,
yeah,
Doug?
he's in good form.
And he's built a body as he come in like a young sapling, but he's really thickened up and hit the weight room.
Well, here is the sapling. I don't think there's a better set shot at goal in the comp right now than this man.
Yeah,
Marshall.
31-9.
Look at that, 32-9, Duck. Well, you build them up and they salute. You remember them forever. 2-1-13. 3 behinds in Melbourne. 10-point lead early stages for Adelaide. And that's a Triple M IJ Liga scoreboard.
And he's certainly rewarded his coach's faith, hasn't he? Kenny Hink, the critics were coming really hard at this young key forward, and he stuck with him and he persisted, and now he's getting rewarded. It's great to see.
Well, Dixon out of the team at the start of the year just gave him that more exposure to being the number one man in that forward.
Well, he's got more tricks than Dixon, I reckon. I think he's cleaner at ground level. He's got a bit of a swerve, a bit more composure with the ball. Like Dixon tends to be that brute strength size.
Dixon's been very good in the ruck in recent weeks. It's nice balance for Port Adelaide at the moment, Shoot.
Yeah, Triple M Reds there, Port are plus 21 in uncontested ball, but they're matching Melbourne in the ground ball, whereby they're ranked number one in that stat. They're at plus 1, Port Adelaide.
And they've changed their entry method. When it was Dixon, we'll just go long to Dixon and crumb it. Now I think they're averaging about 13 uncontested marks inside forward 50, quite high in the AFL, Shoot.
For McDonald's and Ream Hotwater, Triple M rocks footy. Port Adelaide win the centre clearance again and go towards half forward. Salem wins the ground ball, tries to kick it to Viney. Ground level Langdon, Petrarca, back to Viney and back to May, who sees Petrarca break into space, and another nice kick from Stephen May, finds Petrarca on the wing, wants to come in board. Sparrow started in the centre bounce. Has a player out wide running for him. It's Langdon, the running machine. Can he find a mark inside 50? Gawn on a lead. Took the mark. Just a little 15-metre dinky pass from Langdon, and Gawn will go back and have a shot. Final 2 minutes of this first quarter to see if he can get Melbourne on the board with a major.
Just changed the angles nicely there, didn't they? Came inside, outside, just shifting Port's defence the whole time, and got the behind the goals vision there. Big Maxi gone that got the mismatch on Burton.
Well, Charlie Dixon, he just outworked him. His tank, he stretched him on the rung and it got split and he couldn't keep with him.
Big Gawn's run out a long way to try and come around and couldn't bring it back at all, and then kicks it to his ruckman counterpart in Charlie Dixon, who got down to the last line of defence.
But you called Max Gawn earlier, didn't you? He pushes hard in defence, pushes hard. He stretches him athletically and endurance-wise.
Into the back pocket, and Jonas has it. So at the last minute of the first term, Port Adelaide lead by 10 points. It's a high ball. Tomlinson this time out marks Marshall on centre wing. Last opportunity for the Demons. And a 50 seconds. Short ball by Tomlinson, and he finds Brayshaw, who turns around quickly and puts it back inside forward 50. Fritsch with a target. Fritsch might got a free kick, and he did. Got a little bit of a high touch by Alir and Fritsch from the pocket.
What's with this new clock counting up now, not down, Joel? So we don't know exactly how long to go. That's different.
Do you like it?
No. Do you?
No.
Bailey Fritsch telling a player this should be no problems for him. Left foot turns the body and misses. 3 for 1 behind.
He's an interesting player, Alir, isn't he? When he's the roll-off player, he looks dominant. When he has to defend one-on-one, he's a little bit more fragile.
Port Adelaide lead by 9 points. Late in this first term, Melbourne haven't kicked a goal in this quarter. Burton runs his 15, gets a long ball to Finlayson, who outworked Stephen May. Back of the wing. Might be time for the power here if the kick can find aim on. Well done, Viney. Kept up with him, got it out of bounds.
Well, that big contested mark, as you say, ducked down the line, is worth its weight in gold. And Finlayson, that'd be a rare win for someone to beat May one-on-one.
But down to 8 seconds, Duck. This first quarter. So have to be a quick bit of play here from Port Adelaide. They're the only team that can score. Throw in 60 out. Dixon and Gawn. Down to Rosie. Gets it to Boak. Here is a chance if they can take a mark inside 50. Well done, Brayshaw. Floating across. Takes intercept mark. And that sees out a bit of a strange first quarter in the Alice. A lot of uncontested ball, a lot of chipping around, and at the moment it's suiting Port Adelaide because they lead Melbourne. They're 2-1-13. Melbourne on just the 4 behinds. This is the Sunday afternoon footy for Triple M. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
For Ream Hot Water,
Triple M rocks footy.
built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
Triple M is your home of the Marty Sheargold Show.
Jason Castagna, Jake Arts and Morris Rioli Jr. were all dropped from Richmond, so that's an interesting move from Dimmer.
And don't forget the last time the Roo Boys swapped coach, we actually played the Tigers at Marvel when Reece Shaw took over, and we won because I was there screaming at Reece Shaw at 3/4 time to take him down to the cheer squad.
Did it work?
We won.
The Marty Sheargold Show. Weekdays from 6 on Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M.
Snow or skate, Oakley has your back. Hit the slopes and face the elements in style with Oakley's new collection of ski and snowboard goggles, helmets and apparel. And elevate your experience while you hit every jump with complete confidence. Or roll the urban sprawl of the concrete jungle with Oakley's new skate collection. Your world, your playground. Discover limitless possibilities with Oakley's new selection of snow and skateboard clothing and accessories. In store now. Oakley, be who you are.
2 100% Aussie Angus beef patties, tasty cheese and chunky tomato relish. Macca's Mighty Angus doesn't just have might, it has height. Available after 10:30am for a limited time.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card when you connect to a new $69 a month, 24-month SIM-only plan with 80 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. Available now at Harvey Norman. Offer available until withdrawn. Not available with any other offers. Minimum plan cost $1,656. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Wow, winter has really set in and it feels like every man and his dog is sick at the moment. Thankfully, Nature Bee Power Pollen can help you power up your protection this winter with amazing micronutrients absorbed fast. Nature Bee's end of financial year sale has been extended. Buy 2 and get 1 free on Nature Bee Power Pollen for a limited time. Keep it for yourself or give someone else the power of good health this winter. Get 10% off your first order at powerpollen.com.au.
Could you disappear for 21 days without a trace?
I'm gonna find you.
10's new series, Hunted, filmed in Melbourne. Premieres 7:30 tonight.
The Listener app is the new home of Triple M footy. And you'll find every Triple M call of every AFL game.
Big atmosphere here tonight.
Everywhere.
We're at the Triple M CG. Party time at the Gabba. Game on and off the stadium.
No matter where you are, stream the Triple M footy call live. Download the Listener app now. Sign up, choose a team, and you won't miss a game of the AFL season.
Listener.
What saves you time and money with less trips to the hardware store? Diablo's new Impact Strong screwdriver bits. These bad boys absorb torque for less stress on the bit. Tough and durable with up to 50 times longer life and a precise grip with no loss of the centering tip. With a full range of screwdriver bits, Diablo has your back, no matter the job. Rolling into stores at Bunnings Warehouse, see the full range at diablotools.com.au. Diablo Tools. Lead, never follow.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Repco. Show your card and save this month at Repco. Driven by passion for 100 years.
McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy, quarter time at TIO Stadium in the Alice Springs, and it's Port Adelaide with the only 2 goals of that first term in beautiful conditions. They're 2-1-13. Melbourne just the 4 behinds. Interesting start to this one. We'll get the thoughts of Ash Stewart, the Triple M Red Z Lending stats. Just tell us what happened in that first term.
Well, just the inefficiency again with Melbourne. They're 58% time in the front half, but they've had 11 entries inside 50 for 0-4. The pressure rating down for both teams, as you discussed. 169 to Melbourne, 167 to Port. But Dan Houston, Joey, leading ball winner on the ground for Port Adelaide with 10 disposals.
For Bob Jane T-Marts, look after you. Buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash back on top tyre brands. Call 13 26 25 or order online today, bobjane.com.au. The news out of that first term, Jake Lever went down to the rooms to get his shoulder looked at. We didn't see him late in that first term, so we'll see if he comes out to play the second quarter. But Ross Lyon, Wayne Carey, what do you make of that first quarter?
Oh, statistically, it's all pretty even in your key areas, but they were just way more efficient, Port Adelaide, going inside their forward 50, made the most of their opportunities. And Melbourne first quarters won this year, man. 13 to 16?
Yeah, good record.
And they, well, not anymore.
Well, that's probably their concern, isn't it? Like, they'll be looking for a better start coming off a loss. And
yeah.
But I think when you think Melbourne at their best, teams weren't able to move the ball. Remember, there was teams just going around and going sideways, going to get through. But just to the eye, and just we're obviously not in the Alice, they're Port Adelaide switching the ball or double switching and taking it all the way to the forward 50. So they've got elements of the game, like Adam Mouze said, that they need to tighten up.
Yep. Other teams are finding a way through now, aren't they? You're right. They're not giving Melbourne what they want, and that is that kick long down the line. They're changing the angles nicely, Port.
Good to see.
And that prominent run, like Langdon, he's not standing out like prominent. Even they seem to be just shifting. They're more go back through them.
They seem to be chipping the ball a little bit more, do you think, in that first quarter?
Yeah, in style.
And good to see Jake Lever is going to start this second quarter. Just quickly, Two-Man full-time at the MCG for Choice Hotels.
Hawks defeated the Eagles by 25 points.
Here's Nathan Brown to get us underway. Second quarter here at TIO Stadium. Ream Hot Water built tough Aussie conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install a Ream.
So 9-point lead to Port Adelaide. The bounce in the middle is perfect. 24 degrees. Beautiful day in Alice. Wine's got the ball. Dixon will get the clearance. Inside forward 50. Under pressure the Demons. It comes back out and Finlayson got the touch on it, and then it bounced back into his hands, and a little bit of luck, but you'll take that every day of the week. Good mark.
Well, there was a couple of things in that play. The modern-day players, quick hands out of the middle. Rosie was just outstanding, but May normally just moves you off the ball, and he pushed Finlayson, but he just hung in, threw out his left arm and tapped it back. That's 2 one-on-ones he's beaten May with, which is really, you wouldn't back coming in.
It's going to 50-50 just about this year. Set shots. This one should be a gimme. 30 out, pretty much directly in front. Finlayson on the left. Goes high. Goes long. And he's kicked the goal. Port out the first 3. 3-1-19. The Demons are 4 behinds. Triple M Repco scoreboard. Show your card and save this month. The Repco, driven by passion for 100 years.
And the other thing Melbourne did, they had Isaiah Pickett in the centre bounce. So they're looking for a little bit of a spark. He'll run forward and the midfielder run. I'll just give him a bit of speed around that bounce.
It's amazing what confidence. I mean, you look at May there, automatically the players see May shift Finlayson off the footy, and they're already off. They go, we're off here. I mean, that's 1 in 1,000, I reckon. Finlayson marks that generally. Comes off the hand, bobbles straight up rather than goes over the back or to the side. And it's amazing. Just right now, just little things not quite going Melbourne's way. And they're little confidence. You just see the confidence just starting to wane.
Well, even the first goal for Port Adelaide, May was just off. Todd Marshall squirted out to him and set that goal up to Trav Boak. So Port Adelaide got the first 3 goals. There is Boak on cue. Out to Mead. Forward handball. Rosie tries to put a little step on Petrarca, who doesn't bite. Just corrals him. Did it well, Christian Petrarca. Forced Rosie to kick the ball, and Boak all of a sudden gets towards half forward and now pokes it inside 50. Salem had to defend 1-on-1. Got a good fist in it, and it's out of bounds. 15 metres around from the Port Adelaide goal. Again, they'll do the attacking, kicking to the right of the broadcast.
Joey, do you get, and Ross, when they go in, when a team goes inside their forward 50 against Melbourne now, used to be assured. Melbourne used to feel like, they'll just bring this out. Now there's a nervousness about this Melbourne defence.
They're going to have to defend here because Finlayson just worked Jackson off the contest easy. Around to Powell. Pepper went for a snap and The goalkeeper, Tomlinson, was right there on the goal line, took the mark, and now the D's will look to counter through Brayshaw.
Brayshaw, right foot, has to be perfect, isn't. Coming from the back was Jonas, did really well, then he got tackled and ragdolled by Sparrow. That's a great tackle.
Gee. Oh, that's unlucky.
And he's been called for a dangerous tackle. That's as good a tackle as you see.
Well, that's the fabric of the game being pulled apart there. But Melbourne are really getting beaten around in clearances, Stu, aren't they?
They have. Port have won the last 6, and remember, Melbourne lost that step by 18 last week.
Aaliyah looks for Marshall, good at the back, and Tomlinson's there again. Opportunity for May, went past it, Boak went in hard, May tackled him, ball popped out. And big Stevie May, he's going to get a free kick, holding the ball against Boak. So he's a good defender, Stephen May, as we know. Had an up and down, a bit of a turbulent time, but he's back playing some pretty good footy. So May, a left foot to centre wing. Gawn, fist the ball to ground level. Viney was there. Was really strong, standing up in the tackle, got it back to Rivers. Langdon gave the handball out wide. Spargo, that's a high ball, it's an up and under one. Fritsch from the side. Can't mark it, had 2 bites at it, went back, got the ball to Pickett. Pickett dances, turns around. He did a 720 in the end, Pickett, and then he banged it home. Really good goal. And Duck said, he was like twinkle toes out there. He was up and about, bit of spring in his step, and he's played good footy. Gets the Demons first, and they're 1-4-10. They trail by 9 points. Port Adelaide 3-1-19. Repco scoreboard.
Well, he's had a couple of opportunities, hasn't he? And that's what he's capable of. And I like the fact there, Fritsch, first thing he did then, there's no doubt that I reckon Simon Goodwin has gone to Fritsch and said, if there is someone there, you give it, because he didn't even think then. As soon as he gathered that footy, he just gave the handball.
Well, selfless, wasn't it? But Pickett, he went right, he went left, and then when he went right again and just snapped it on his left foot. Here he is there on the Harvey Norman replay. Where is he? He goes right, left, bang on the left.
It's a full circle.
But he's so quick that everyone sits off him because they don't want to get stepped, and what a lovely finish.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Wonderful goal from Cozzy Pickett. Last chance to receive a bonus gift card on selected home appliances at Harvey Norman. Shop, in-store or online. Can that get the Demons going because they win this clearance? Gawn down to Petrarca, down to Harms, and then Ben Brown thought he was Tony Modra for 1 second, jumped early, and the mark was taken by Lear. Uncontested in the end, didn't he? He tried to do hands on the shoulders and launch.
He just didn't get off the deck.
The kick went to Farrell, just out of his fingertips, so Melbourne will win this ball back. Half forward, Sparrow feeds it back to Gawn, who's going to kick a high ball inside 50. Where are the Flyers this time? Fritsch got to the front, couldn't take the mark. Ben Brown did the crumbing this time, got it to Petrarca, handball over the top. This should be bread and butter for Bailey Fritsch. That's better from the D's. They get 2 in a row. And they're back within 3 points. They're 2-4-16. Port Adelaide 3-1-19. Triple M Repco scoreboard. Show your card and save this month at Repco, driven by passion for 100 years.
Well, Ross, that's out of their playbook.
I was thinking that was quite brutal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Centre bounce going to come out. Big contest from Fritsch in the air, and then brutal at ground level and sharp hands. But you're right about Fritsch. He's had a cook, I reckon, and his effort in the air and then to hit the deck and then get involved again and get on the end of that was great.
Well, he's nearly taken 2 really solid marks, but it's the contest and then the second effort. Good handball at the Harvey Norman show there by Brown, but just continue to just surge that ball forward, keep the ball alive, and that's like he
outworked his opponent. It was Jonas. His opponent went in the air, but then Jonas was just flat-footed. Fritsch was just onto it.
Quick as a flash, the Demons get it back to 3 points. Harms will send it forward again. Had the handball to Petrarca, but he's wrapped up by Finlayson and holding the ball. So Jeremy Finlayson had a good start to the game. Enigmatic play, you'd call him, Joey.
Yep.
Short ball finds Robbie Gray, possibly in his last year, Gray. He slits it wide. Gets it out towards Burne-Jones with that haircut. He goes short and he finds Drew leading up. So they've gone from the middle all the way out to near the boundary line, and Drew that sometimes does a tagging role. Doesn't appear to be going to anyone today. Long ball inside forward 50. Tomlinson's been good. Early takes a mark and he'll send it back the other way.
He has. He's won his own footy and he's also supported teammates.
All his defender teammates were queuing up to switch the play. So Sale and Brayshaw and Rivers all get involved. Still inside the defensive 50. Not a lot of movement up ahead again for Trent Rivers, so he's going to have to try and create something. He tries to squeeze a kick. It was a good one. Found Tom Sparrow. How many for him, Chew? Red Z Lending?
Yeah, Tom Sparrow, 6 disposals.
He's going to try and drill a low flat ball. Sets a task for Petrarca, who overran it, so it's Bergman who'll pick it up. Thought about going long the first time, then took a bounce. Waited for Georgiades to get towards the goal square. Hibbard, good positioning, did well. Got the front spot, won the contest, and then just poked the little ball over to Spargo.
Spargo covers a lot of ground. A lot of them rolling in with that black headband, Duck, isn't it? Do you think about that back in your day? You were more like short on top, party at the back, weren't you?
Some guys can pull it off, others should stay away from it.
Yeah.
You had the ponytail.
Early days.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of that.
No. Looking back now, whether was I. So boundary throw in. Port Adelaide lead by 3 points. 3-1-19, 2-4-16 the Demons. Ollie Wines with brute strength trying to pull it out, but he couldn't. Goes back in, and Robbie Gray picked the footy up to Darcy Byrne-Jones on the right foot. Hugs the boundary line and just kept it in. And gets it to Miles Bergman. So Bergman still 2 kicks from home. In the shade of the grandstand. Now chips it. Looking for Powell Pepper. Can't mark it. Brayshaw at ground level. Picked it up. Gawn's just riding shotgun if he can get it to him, but Charlie Dixon picks him up, and he looked like he was going to dump him onto the ground. He thought better of it.
Yeah.
And now they'll have a ball up, and Charlie having a bit of a laugh.
Thought his way through that well. Charlie just thought he'd scare him a little bit, I reckon.
I reckon he did. A couple of nervous moments there for Brayshaw.
That helmet was going to get a run into the turf, wasn't it?
Well done, Charlie Dixon.
Port Adelaide win this clearance. Butters goes into the pocket. It was a great kick to advantage. Georgiades had the box seat, dropped it easy, mark, and then ran out of room.
So a tough year, Georgiades.
Yeah.
Well, he did everything right. He had Big Hibbert. He just pushed him off and just didn't watch it into his hands.
And then definitely went out of bounds. Good call from the boundary umpire. So it'll be thrown in 10 metres out from the power goal. Melbourne have kicked the last 2.
Look for Robbie Gray on the move.
Dixon tries to hold front spot. Gawn shoved him out of the way. Bergman lurking at the back. Got the handball out to Boak, who's already kicked one. Didn't go for goal. Drew back to Rosie from 45 around the body, but Melbourne got plenty of numbers back in their defensive goal square. One of them is Angus Brayshaw, and that's 50 metres because Charlie Dixon didn't back to the 9 metres protected area straight away. And it'll bring Brayshaw out towards centre-half back.
Gee, I meant to call him back.
Not anymore, Duck. No more benefit of the doubt. Players should know the rule.
Okay.
And they were red hot there, the umpires.
They do that with the 6-6 as well, Joey, do they?
No, they don't.
They get a warning.
No, they don't. We have strange rules, Ross, in our game. And that kick goes long and wide. It's now with James Jordan.
Does that update just go to you, or it goes to the rest of the Triple M court team?
That was a rule from the start of the year. Now, because remember, players
up to the induction for the start.
Remember when a player took the mark in the defensive goal square, players would run
come
right
back
up,
to the 10
and they used to say, "Come back." Now they've said to the player study, you have to get back to the line of the goal square, and if you don't, it's an automatic 50.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, Ross. So a boundary throw in. Demons in attack. They trail by 3 points.
Well, he's the best in the business, Joey. First crack tonight.
Yep. So Neil Bullen picked the footy up and tried to stand up in the tackle, but Drew got him. Went back in. Neil Bullen had his feet taken out. Underground handball was pretty impressive and got it out. And here comes Jackson. Jackson, right foot snap. And the Demons are in front for the first time today.
Well, we talk about Grunt, and the goal goes down to Jackson, but that's Neil Bullen's goal. He caught my eye. He was ferocious in 2 or 3 contests just to get after him. He got tackled, he got up, he forced it forward, and Jackson gets a reward. Gee whiz, if you're Goodwin in the coach's box or you're sitting down the ground, you'd be thrilled with that. That'd lead off your review on Monday if they get up over the line.
3-4-22, Port Adelaide a 3-1 at 19. It's a 3-point lead on the Repco scoreboard. Ash, you've got anything for us? You've been quiet.
Viney's been in very good form over the past month, averaging 32 a PB, leading ballman on the ground with 13. Just those intercept marks, spoke about Tomlinson. He's taken 4 for the game, but 3 alone inside the defensive 50.
Did you find it strange today that Ross rocked in with a 4-coloured pen, which is fine, but and 3 apples? That was it today. 3 apples and a 4-coloured pen.
Well, a pink lady for each, and I actually borrowed the pen.
So Melbourne in front by 3 points.
This has been a Melbourne type quarter, hasn't it?
Yeah, much more like the Melbourne that we know.
Grand.
for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy, and again they'll win the centre clearance. Harms stripped it away, gone. Viney on his right boot, don't see that too often. Neil Bullen. But well done by Burton. Attacked the footy, left his man, and now Farrell on that beautiful left leg just goes short and finds Burton.
Stand.
Half back for the Power. Just needed control, a bit of tempo again. Port, they just lost control of this game. Burn Jones, surprise us all as the best and fairest winner, finds Drew in the middle and now switches the play wide to Powell Pepper. That was part of the Sunday Rub quiz. None of us got the answer right. Powell Pepper goes towards Georgiades again. Again, he was in the box seat, went one-handed, couldn't take the mark. Bergman now in the pocket, goes with a banana. This will be a class finish. What a goal from Miles Bergman. That's the goal of the day. And Port Adelaide back in front. They're 4-1-25. Melbourne 3-4-22. We've played 12 minutes in this second quarter. Triple M Repco scoreboard.
Stephen May was running around like a headless chook there.
Well, Bergman, I thought he could have given the handball the instinctive first skip, but he summed it up. He just stepped inside. And a banana, one-step banana, straight through.
You watch the Harvey Norman here with Stephen May. So he gets turned inside out. He comes back to put pressure on, and in the end, so he's inside out there. Look at the Harvey Norman. Then look, he gets stepped around with ease.
Headless Chook, Bob Jane teammates will look after you. Buy 3, get 1 free plus instant cash back and top tie brands. Call 13 26 25 or order online today, bobjane.com.au. So, Port Adelaide back to a 3-point margin. Bounce in the middle of McDonald's, Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Drew got the quick handball out. Dixon had a couple of clearances this quarter, but went without the footy. Jackson came back in and was wrapped up and will have a ball up. So Choice Hotels around the grounds. Ash, what happened earlier today?
Earlier today, Hawks defeated West Coast by 25 points. Luke Bruce, 6 majors.
Some of the ball winners in this game too. Red Z Lending, Connor Rosie, Jack Viney, please.
Yeah, Connor Rosie, 10 disposals, 3 tackles, and Viney leading ball winner on the ground with 14.
And up and under ball by Harms, just a bouncing one, and Burton will be the first one there. Fritsch tackled him. Burton wants the boundary line, and he got it. So a boundary throw in. Applause is for Bailey Fritsch.
Was that 6 straight for Bruce, Drew, or he had a couple more shots as well?
Triple M Red Z, Ross, Luke Bruce, 6 goals, 2.
Big day.
Throw in, half forward for the Demons. Butters got the clearance. Burn Jones, good handball to Amon. Running through half back. Wants his left, has Powell Pepper. Made some good space on Brayshaw. Got it on the wing, looks up ahead, doesn't want to go long. They want to try and just keep these Melbourne defenders accountable. So went short to Robbie Gray, who wants to go short. This time Georgiades, but again, Jake Lever read it best. Rolled off, took an intercept mark. Definitely trying to avoid going long, aren't they, Port Adelaide? Lever goes long. Bergman got to the front, couldn't take the mark. Arms been good this quarter. Handball went looking for Brayshaw, run out of room. Boundary throw in.
Well, they certainly look more threatening when they're passing in, doesn't it? It takes away Lever and May.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay looking at Nathan Bassett, the coach today, without Ken Hinkley, who's...
I forgot about that. Did we speak about that pre-game?
We didn't. Last chance to receive a bonus gift card on selected home appliances at Harvey Norman. Shop in-store or online. Ken Hinkley might be listening to our call, so hello if you are, Ken.
I think he was a Norwood Premiership coach, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm tipping Kenny's not listening to us.
I was waiting for that.
Now, a lot of people watch the TV, Ross, and turn the radio up.
Yeah, but they're not AFL coaches.
Yeah, I think they do. Short ball, Petrarca, Sparrow, Neil Bullen. Handball missed him, no. Farrell went in. Trying to pick the footy up. Neil Bullen bullocks through again. Been tough, Ross. Inside forward, 50 by Sparrow. It's a bouncing ball. Aaliyah, can he get there first? Darcy Byrne-Jones comes in. Went hard. Following the footy up, Petrarca from 45. That's not a great kick. He'd come off his knee. Opportunity, though, for Langdon, who just kept working. He heard the voice out the back, but in the end, through for a rush behind and Port Adelaide get it through. Melbourne 3-5-23. Port Adelaide 4-1-25. Ripco scoreboard.
Well, they've lifted their intensity in the contest, Melbourne. Both teams are cracking in here. It's a good game to watch.
Butters short to Amon, still in the defensive 50. Power lead by 2 points. Got out to 15 when they got the first goal of this second term to Finlayson. 3 in a row to Melbourne. And Farrell couldn't take the mark. Salem kept it in. Lever had a little fumble and Both players went out of bounds on the full. Umpire said no, we'll throw it in. 9:30 left on the clock in this second term. Finlayson having a stint in the ruck now with Luke Jackson. Finlayson been pretty good in the ruck, did well. Grabbed it out, and then Bonner wanted to give it to Boku, went to do the Shepherd. So now the chance for the Demons. Salem, who's normally a reliable, good kick on his left, had Ben Brown on the lead. Couldn't quite take the mark. He had some separation on Alir, who ends up mopping the ball up, and then, as Alir can do, just makes it look difficult. Put Bergman under pressure. Demons will win it back. Spargo, Viney, goes inside 50, but Port Adelaide are queuing up everywhere, and it's Jonas who takes the mark and goes short to Bonner. Oh, Bonner took his eye off it, dropped an absolute soda, and this might be costly because Petrarca mops it up, gives it to Fritsch, and that is a bad, bad mistake that has gifted Melbourne a goal.
Does anyone do the coach grillers anymore? Because that was certainly one, wasn't it? Drop.
That's very bad indeed, and Bailey Fritsch gets his second of the quarter and the easiest goal he will ever kick. And Melbourne 4-5-29, Port Adelaide 4-1-25. Triple M Repco scoreboard. That hurts.
Nathan Bassett, welcome to AFL coaching.
Yeah, key stats, two-man in this quarter.
Goals from turnover. 3 out of the 4 majors for Melbourne this term have come from Port Adelaide turnovers. And Petrarca, he's getting busy, Duck. 5 clearances, most for Melbourne, along with 12 touches and 4 score involvements.
Well, he took off before he had it on the Harvey Norman replay, didn't he? He was turning before he watched it into his hands, but...
Was it Bonner that kicked the first one in the first quarter when he kicked it in board? That was a horrible one to Rosie that slipped over that cost him the first goal?
Yes, it was.
It was Bonner, wasn't it?
He's having a day out. He's out of contract, isn't he?
Was that Carl Amon?
Carl Amon even.
So the Demons back in front. Petrarca having influence.
Different person.
Set up the last one, and forward 50 entry only goes as far as Darcy Byrne-Jones, who splits it wide, and Charlie Dixon. That's going to be 50 metres, is it?
I missed him by 1 letter. Amon, Bonner.
Unlucky for Max Gawn. So in the action of trying to get back on Charlie Dixon, touched the ball, and then as soon as Charlie felt the touch, he just let it go.
He threw it up in the air.
He let it go. The umpire got sucked in. Yeah, it's not 50 metres. Got a big astronaut tattoo on his arm. So Charlie Dixon.
No real design.
What a leaf, a swallow.
Yet to kick a goal today to put Port Adelaide back in front. This will be the 4th lead change. Dixon kicks truly underneath the McDonald Rangers. Perfect setting here, 24 degrees, and Port lead by 2 points, 5-1-31. Melbourne a 4-5-29. Repco scoreboard.
Well, it's a big price to pay, the 50, isn't it? He hardly touched it, and on the Harvey Norman replay, Dixon basically threw the ball up in the air into the ground. The umpire fell for it, but you know, it's all craftsmanship, Duck.
Well, the thing, Gawn didn't knock it out of his hands.
He touched the ball.
And Dixon...
Technically correct.
Technically there.
Don't give the opportunity.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay.
It's good pressure, enough pressure, wasn't it, in the middle of the ground? Melbourne didn't get the...
Been a couple of poor kicks from Petrarca, though. Rush kick there, the rush kick inside 50.
What it was good spread from Dixon on the turnover to force Gawn to defend.
So back in the middle, it is Dixon and Gawn continuing their battle for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Travie Boak with the clearance from inside the centre circle. Goes to the hot spot. May with a big fist. Powell Pepper lurking. Stands up in the Hibbard tackle. He tried to get rid of the ball, but we'll have it thrown up.
Well, he took the tackle there. He just held the ball in, didn't want to let it go. That is one. He could have disposed of a handball, kept that ball alive. Could have been pinned.
Now Finlayson will do the ruck work against Gawn. Taps it down to Boak again, working hard. There is Carl Amon Ross. Gives it back to Connor Rosie. Held without the footy. No free kick. Langdon picks it up. Tries to pop it into the path of Neil Bullen. Ben Brown coming the other way. Good defence by the Power, although that handball coughed up. Now there's a real opportunity for Melbourne. Harms missed a chance to handball to Neil Bullen. Instead, he kicked it inside 50, and Alir just broke the ankles of Luke Jackson with a little shimmy and finds Jonas and goes short to Ollie Wines.
Wines has got Farrell short, elects not to go there. Sees something out on centre wing. It's a high ball. Get underneath that. Dixon's your man. Can't mark it. Front and centre was Rosie, but handball straight back to Langdon. Ross's man. It loves to run. Right foot. Turns around at the corner inside forward 50. Bouncing ball. Got over the top of Spargo. Jordan was in there. Burton picked it up. Casual bounce, and it bounced so far. Went back over his shoulder. Don't often see that. Farrell's handball. Wines. And a chipping ball to Jackson Mead at half back. So Mead. What are Georgiades numbers, Ash?
Georgiades for Triple M Red Z, just a one handball. Brownie scoreless to date.
They go wide, and Stephen May camps underneath it and takes an easy mark.
And the Brownlow medalist, Wine, seems to be a little bit quiet, Ash.
Yeah, spot on.
His numbers.
Spot on, Ross. 10 touches, but only 3 in this quarter.
May going to kick it towards the Gawn direction. Again, Fritsch in that marking contest. That should be deliberate on Jonas.
Yep.
Umpire was right there. Come on, Tommy. Got to be more subtle than that.
Just made out Harvey Norman, he just fell over and hit it straight out.
The umpire was right there. Fritsch was quick to get onto it. And he'll have the shot at goal, Bailey Fritsch. It's going to be a tough ask, though. His backside's up against that fence at TIO Stadium.
He's not going to pass this.
He's pretending he's looking inboard. No, he's going to pull it. Nick Rossi copped that spray at quarter time. Goes to Petrarca. Off hands. Who's lurking? Handball goes to Harms. He had a little fumble. Neil Bullen kept his head over it, but Port did well not to give away the free kick. And Carl Amon happy to take that through for a rush behind. So Melbourne 4-6-30. Port Adelaide 5-1-31. Just over 6 minutes left in the half. Triple M Repco scoreboard.
Well, I don't know if it's the pressure or the conditions, but a lot of players seem to be fumbling and double taking the ball in what seems perfect conditions. Might be the pressure, Joey.
Burton to do the kicking in, and the ball fisted out of bounds.
Could the humidity be a factor? A little bit slippery up there?
Oh, it's not slippery. Don't give him
I think it's more of a dry heat in Alice, Joe. I'm no expert.
We come up for excuses for these players. Perfect conditions.
Well, you're a hard man, Doug.
I know.
Look at the ground. It's like
I
carpet.
think so as well, but Ross asked me why they're fumbling. I was trying to come up with an answer.
They're fumbling because, well, they're fumbling.
Expert comments there, Wayne Carey. Triple MC bus special comments as the ball goes towards the wing. Rivers did well. Won a contest, gave it to Stephen May, who thumps a big 60-metre ball. Back towards half forward. Harms working hard. A couple of players had a little fumble. Harms handball missed the mark. Well done. Well picked off by Houston.
Houston, a bouncing ball, underground style. Georgiades gets his second touch to Boak. It's a good one too. Boak to half forward. Really good to Marshall. Marshall 55 from home. He's got a lead short and he goes there. And Drew marks the ball 50 out. Wants to play on. Doesn't like the distance. Transfers play to outside 50 to Darcy Byrne-Jones. He's got to play up right on the 50. And Carl Amon, I'm not sure what they were trying to achieve there.
No better off.
And a chipping ball, and Melbourne intercept and get the ball at ground level. Langdon was good. Spargo's there. Handball back to Langdon. Langdon's handball was ineffective. Wines, that was a throw almost. Got it out to Aliir. Aliir short ball finds Dan Houston, a man who can wind up and kick it. He's inside the centre square. He's going to go wide. He's got Miles Bergman who marks it. Pickett gets to him. The run from Burton around, and Burton chips the ball, the 50, and Travis to Robbie Gray. And this is where they were 15 seconds ago.
That was a unique bit of play, wasn't it? Drew just should have went back and taken the shot on goal.
Into the pocket to Finlayson. And Jeremy Finlayson, 5 metres in from the boundary, takes the mark. He'll kick from 40.
I reckon they've had 15 possessions in that last passage of 2 minutes, and they're 5 metres closer to the goal.
And a narrow angle.
On a narrow angle, exactly what I was going to say, closer to the boundary. And not one player fumbled.
So Jeremy Finlayson kicked the first goal of the second term. His only one today. To put the Port 7 points in front. Finlayson, we're right behind this one. It's a high ball, but it's off to the right. Through for one behind. They lead by 2 points.
Must have slipped off his boot.
5-2-32. Melbourne at 4-6-30. Triple M, Repco scoreboard.
The Finlayson's been deceptively strong in the ruck contest versus Jackson and Gawn today.
What he's
really
got
surprised.
is
He's actually been pretty good. Yeah, he's been pretty good the last 6 weeks, Finlayson. He's the second ruck. Play rating numbers are high, two-man.
Yeah, past 5 matches, Joey. Second-rated player at Port, averaging 16 disposals, 5 clearances and 11 hit-outs.
Melbourne transition the play. Ed Langdon out there on that wing. Owning that outer side. Disposal number 15 for him. He'll continue to run. Finds Tomlinson, who's a long way from home. Gives it back to Ed Langdon, who's going to drive this one deep into the pocket. It's a one-on-one. Fritsch had the sit. Good body work on Cleary. Takes the mark. And this should favour Fritsch to snap it on his left to kick his third.
Well, he's the one causing all the damage up there, isn't he? He's looking most likely one-on-one, ground level follow-up.
Stronger than he looks, Ross.
He is. I'm not sure of his height, Chew, but he's certainly standing up today when they need him.
188 he is.
So what's that?
Is it about 6'2"?
6'3" with his hair like that.
He's going to go with the traditional drop punt. Oh, sprayed it badly. Should have gone the snap. Slipped off that boot again. Duck through for another behind. So they're
real Beavis.
4-7-31. Port Adelaide still leading by 1 point. They're 5-2-32. We're just tick under 3 minutes left in this half.
And Joey, choose reeled off a jam here. To your point, Port Adelaide passing the ball in. 8 uncontested marks in the forward 50 already. Melbourne average 8 against in a game. So you're spot on there, Joey.
Rosie tried to clear the ball through Lear and only as far as Petrarca. Petrarca sees someone at centre half forward. The kick's good. Sparrow, Joey's man. Said he's going to light it up today through the midfield. What are his numbers, Ash?
Triple M Red Z, Tom Sparrow Brownie. He's picked up 10 touches.
So he's going okay. Right foot. He'll kick it to the top of the square. Fritsch will fly. So too Melksham and the ball into the pocket. First one there is Pickett. Pickett over the shoulder. That is another great goal from Pickett.
Well, Duck, you called this.
You called it, Duck. You said he was up on his toes today, and he's delivered. That's his second ripper, and the Demons lead by 5 points.
Think about it. That's either side. That's a left foot, right foot. It does not matter. You can't coach that.
Should have hitched your caravan because he picked it.
I had to come up with it an hour before.
Next time we'll think about it before we come in.
He looks sharp, doesn't he? And it's amazing, though. It's not slippery out there, Joey. The fumbles, Paul Roos, Ross. It was one of his famous things that he said, and he spoke about fumbling the footy.
Well, it's a turnover. You fumble it, you're turning it over. Yeah, you used to have a number, anything above 14 or 16, the Swannies would lose.
Yeah,
we used to go on a Monday, we'd do effective tackles and fumbles. We'd sit through for 4 hours.
He was the only one that wanted that ball.
And then I had to go and do my own vision later. Another 4 hours. It was a nightmare.
McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Demons back in front by 5 points. 2 minutes to go. Rosie getting some space. Puts the little afterburners on. Can they find another mark inside 50? Butters got to stand his ground. Could have taken it, dropped it. And now Georgiades gives it back to Butters, who's nailed in a big tackle from Tom Sparrow. And Zach Butters just laughs. He loves that.
He does.
He loves that stuff.
He's tough, isn't he?
He's tough.
He gets smashed, though, every time he plays. Puts himself in those positions.
He's strapped up, isn't he? Like an old war horse for a young fella.
So from the throw-in, or the ball up, I should say, Drew. Rosie again. Butters back to Rosie. So the two young stars. Oh, that's a poor kick from Rosie. Might be costly because Bedford picked it off. Gets the 1-2. Now sweeps the handball to James Jordan. They're getting all the way to half forward. Ben Brown has to wait for the ball to bounce. And he did eventually, and then again finds Fritsch, who wanted to go, didn't realise Lear was behind him, and then Melcham's had a fumble. And they've made a meal of that one, the D's.
I tell you what, it's clever from Bedford. He didn't take possession. He could have marked that footy where it was an intercept, but he actually just tapped it forward.
Yeah. Well, he did it Jake Arts, didn't he, Fritsch? He played on when he didn't need to. Just ran himself into trouble.
He did, and Port Adelaide clear. And the ball goes out of bounds on centre wing.
Max.
They're working hard to get their brand here, Melbourne, aren't they? The physicality and off turnover go.
Jeremy and Max.
So 51 seconds to go before half time. Entertaining second term. First quarter, not so much. There's been 8 goals kicked in this quarter. Boundary throwing. Connor Rosie got the handball back to Houston. Another handball. Robbie Gray at centre half back. Runs and carries and then goes to the right foot looking for Dixon centre half forward. That's a good mark. Really strong mark. Still 2 kicks from home, Dixon.
Thank you. Stand.
The ball bobbles away, so has to go back and get it. Now ball into the middle of the ground. Dangerous one. Missed the target. Butters under pressure. Pickett's in there. Pickett just bounced up. Duck said he was like a jack in the box today, and he's look at him go. And then he goes backwards towards Brayshaw.
Darting everywhere.
Brayshaw. Low ball. Looking for Melksham, who fell over out there. Opportunity now for Port Adelaide. Picking the ball up was Amon. Amon to half forward. On the stretch is Boak. Boak 55 out, down to 3 seconds, down to 2. He'll have to have a shot after the siren, Travis Boak. He's about 35 years of age. Not sure he's got 60 metres in him. Can't run around, so he can't run off the mark to get himself some more penetration, but he's up against the fence and he's 55 out. The man on the mark is standing just on the 50-metre line.
Has to go the talk.
So let's hope Travis Boak goes the barrel and this turns out to be something special. Boak with the barrel, the big barrel. It's going to score, it's going to be behind. Jeez, you got onto it, Duck.
Yeah, could be the difference.
So 5-3-33 Port Adelaide. They trail at half time to Melbourne. They are 5-7-37 for McDonald's Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy.
That quarter for Repco. Show your card and save this month at Repco. Driven by passion for 100 years.
For Ream Hot Water.
Triple M Rocks Footy.
Built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
Triple M is your home of the Marty Sheargold Show.
People that spend thousands of dollars on handbags are idiots. What do you want out of all of this?
They want a nice handbag.
But there are nice handbags for $200.
Yeah. I know.
Spend $8,000. Some of the best things I've ever owned are handbags worth $200.
What's your favourite colour?
Blue.
The Marty Sheargold Show. Weekdays from 6 on Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M.
Ream, Australia's favourite hot water. Steady, hot and strong.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card when you connect to a new $69 a month, 24-month SIM-only plan with 80 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. Available now at Harvey Norman. Offer available until withdrawn. Not available with any other offers. Minimum plan cost $1,656. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Feel closer to the action with Foxtel's 4K Ultra HD. Watching sport has never looked so good. 4K Ultra HD, the best way to watch the NRL, AFL and F1. Only available on Foxtel.
Well, the hottest of hot water you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on. Install a Ream. Install a Ream. Install a Ream. Install a Ream.
Ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
A quick chat about bringing up respect with Jess Eva.
The trades are a tough gig. I get it. But when you leave the job site, if you're a parent of young kids, then now is when the real work kicks off. Because if we're going to end violence against women, then we're going to need to bring up respect in our kids. So when you get home tonight, lean in. Rather than the old, "How was school today?" question, try this. If one of your friends was being disrespectful to you, how would you feel? What would you do? For more conversation starters, tools and resources, visit respect.gov.au. Violence against women. Let's stop it at the start.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra and the Triple M Network.
Crypto? Boring. Property? Too expensive. Invest in something that you can have fun with. Muscle cars, supercars, rice burners. Buy it schmick or fix it up. There's thousands of collectible cars for sale now at justcars.com.au.
Wow, winter has really set in and it feels like every man and his dog is sick at the moment. Thankfully, Nature Bee Power Pollen can help you power up your protection this winter with amazing micronutrients absorbed fast. Nature Bee's end of financial year sale has been extended. Buy 2 and get 1 free on Nature Bee Power Pollen for a limited time. Keep it for yourself or give someone else the power of good health this winter. Get 10% off your first order at powerpollen.com.au.
Tradies. Beacon Trade's got your back. With a huge range of quality exhaust fans at trade-only prices and plenty of stock across 120 stores. Beacon Trade. Let's make light work.
Triple M Rocks Footy.
This halftime break for Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools. 1 battery, corded power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee.
McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy, half-time TIO Stadium. Good game between Port Adelaide and Melbourne. It's the D's 5-7-37, leading Port Adelaide 5-3-33. Bailey Fritsch has got a couple for Melbourne. The rest are all individual goal kickers. It was Port Adelaide that led by 9 points at quarter time. This is the half-time break for Bosch Power Tools. Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools. 1 battery corded power backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee. Ash for the Red Z lenders. Just some of the major stats from the first half.
Yeah, well, in that first quarter, the contested ball combined, both teams were going at 28%. One shifted to 37 in that second, which is pretty much on par in regards to the AFL average. But in that second quarter for the Demons, 4 out of their 5 majors had come from Port Adelaide turnovers, and they're also efficient when going inside 50 as well. As we know, that's been a bit of a battle for Melbourne. They're ranked 11th for scoring efficiency, but in that second quarter, 13 entries for 8 scoring shots at 5-3 at 62%, which is 19 above the league average. And in the front half, they're doing damage as well in regards to the scores from turnovers. Joey, Melbourne have posted 3-5, Port at 1-1. Just some leading ball winners. Langdon, number 1 ranked player according to Champion Data, 16 disposals, just under 300 metres gained. Petrarca 15 with 5 clearances. Viney also with 15. Tomlinson 9 disposals, 6 marks, 4 intercept. Couple of goals to Fritsch as well as to Pickett. And for Port Adelaide, 17 to Rosie in Houston, 15 to Boak, but Finlayson, I should say, he's the number 1 ranked player for Port Adelaide. 10 disposals, 3 clearances, and he's kicked 1 goal, 1 with 4 marks.
Yeah, he's been very good, hasn't he? Been very good. He surprised me a little bit with his strength in the contest and the ruck, and has outmarked May in a couple of one-on-ones, Joey.
He has, and the clearances, big one, isn't it, Chu? 24 to 12 in favour of Port Adelaide. So they probably should be sort of maximising a bit more of that roster.
When you come into this game, Joe, what are you saying? We've got and centre bouncers, I think they're +1 in there as well. So, you know, you go, well, we've got to neutralise or equal the clearances. Well, they're dominating the clearances. I'm not sure. I mean, we could get the number. Chu could come back to us, but entries off those clearances and scores, right? So real effect. But to me, Port have been a little bit more impressive, except as Melbourne turn the heat up and the screws, they just, if you bash it, you're going in. We've got to tidy up our sloppiness. Rosie's coughed it up twice that you don't expect. They've dropped 1. So Melbourne, and as they did that, I felt it fueled Melbourne a little bit. There was a couple in the Melbourne team saying, we can't cop this. And I reckon Neil Bullen was one of them with his work rate, and Pickett got to work, and Fritsch. But I think they still look a little bit vulnerable, and Harms was trying. That's what I think. My eye tells me Port coughed it up, invited Melbourne in, and a couple of Melbourne players were desperate to get moving.
Can I ask you, though, as a coach, so clearly it's a theme for Port Adelaide to try and take the uncontested ball, the short kicks, to make Melbourne defend. So as a coach, do you wear then a couple of skill executions that are going to miss because you go, you know what, if we are going to kick it around 135 times like we have in the first half, there will be, or will you say, no, we're going to stick to this, boys, but you have to take care of the footy when it's your turn?
Yeah, you got to. Well, was it Bonner that dropped it 20 metres out?
Yep.
Well, mate, the play was on. So we hit you, you just can't take off before you take control of the ball. And with Rosie, there's a little bit, we want to go, but I think the lateral ball movement, once you're at half forward and then you can go in or lower your eyes, you don't need the extra one just for the sake of it. I think what they're doing out of defence is fine. Their clearance works fine, but they've coughed it up too many times. And that's a little bit when you play a high possession game, there's just a couple in that aren't as skillful as they need to be. There's a few that can play that. They've got a couple that, Jonas isn't that skillful. So tidy it up, keep your intensity. Clearance work's been great, but make them pay.
Yeah.
Because Melbourne have just got a couple of goals from either a drop mark or a sloppy handball.
It's interesting, Chu, isn't it? 75 marks in the first half to Port Adelaide, so they're on track for 150 marks. And you remember there was criticism early in the season when Port Adelaide tried to play this way against Melbourne. In one of their 5 losses, they just kicked the ball around sideways and
100%.
backwards and went nowhere. And there was a lot of criticism off the back of that. But they're doing it something similar today, but they're at least taking a little bit more ground.
But that, I think at Adelaide Oval, it's so narrow it doesn't work, right? Here in the heat, strategically, a ground as big or slightly bigger than the MCG,
Yeah.
I think it could take its toll on Melbourne. But Melbourne typically, as a coach, I used to, teams used to control possession against, the Dockers and the Saints to keep the pressure off them. And I used to get frustrated a bit. But theoretically, it's possession without penetration. So Melbourne, you wear it. Like, there's times at my time again, I'll be like, well, don't worry about it. They're just controlling the ball. But I was that anxious to get it back. I'd squeeze up and you'd lose a bit of your shape behind the ball and structure. So I think Melbourne are saying, Well, as long as they're not penetrating and scoring. So it's a bit of cat and mouse. Who's going to stick at their game the longest and be tightest with their skills?
Yeah, it's certainly a game that both sides can win, and both will be pretty comfortable with where it's sitting at the moment. Hey, Choice Hotels around the grounds need a break. Book direct and save choicehotels.com after this. We are going to go to Marvel Stadium, the second half, Essendon v Gold Coast. I've got 2 bottles of red on this one, so I need the Bombers to step up. Tim Solly, Will Ralston, Josh Bruce, Mickey Roberts, Ethan Meldrum and Nat Yannidis will be calling that one for Triple M. But the game earlier this afternoon at the MCG, the Hawks got the job done.
They did, Joey. They defeated the Eagles by 25 points, 15-12, 102 to West Coast 12-5, 77. Luke Bruce, equal PB in terms of majors. He kicked 6 goals too. And Josh Ward, in his first season, leading ball winner on the ground with 34 disposals and 6 clearances.
When it is half-time, we always love to do the half-time segment, the Amy Clangers. Who covers Clangers on and off the field? Amy does. Here's how we called it in the first half.
What are the dimensions of this ground? It looks like a big ground. You can generally tell, obviously, length from the square to the 50, so it looks about the same length as the MCG, but it looks wide.
Yeah, those dimensions. So this ground here is 163 in length. The G's at 162, and the width is this ground 135. The G's at 139.
So the G's wider.
Slightly wider, yep.
It's a sort of normal size ground.
Pretty similar.
Yeah. So 1 metre long. Yeah. 1 metre long, 4 metres.
Well, Joey,
it's that last metre. It's that last metre that kills you.
When you don't have grandstands and you've just got a little wire fence,
it looks bigger. It does. Visually, it looks bigger.
It's an optical illusion.
You do have a good eye, though, Duck. You did know that it was longer than the MCG. You could tell by looking at the square and the 50. You were onto it. It is 1 metre longer than the MCG. But we have a good game of footy on our hands here at half-time for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. It is Melbourne leading Port Adelaide by 4 points. Nath Brown and Duck will be back with us after the break. McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
That halftime break for Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools. 1 battery, corded power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's.
Triple M rocks footy.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Straight after this game, Triple M continues to rock footy.
I got absolute goosebumps watching that.
Join the Temper Mattress call team for the Bombers and Suns.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's.
Triple M rocks footy.
What saves you time and money with less trips to the hardware store? Diablo's new Impact Strong screwdriver bits. These bad boys absorb torque for less stress on the bit. Tough and durable with up to 50 times longer life and a precise grip with no loss of the centering tip. With a full range of screwdriver bits, Diablo has your back, no matter the job. Available online and in store at Bunnings Warehouse. See the full range at diablotools.com.au. Diablo Tools. Lead, never follow.
The Haval H6 is a smart SUV. Mainly because of its smart tech, safety and design, but also because of the driver, someone clever enough to demand more and get it. Haval H6. Smart move.
So, here's one for the books. Budget Direct have won Money Magazine's Insurer of the Year award for a record 6 years in a row. Come on, Australia. It's time you switch to Budget Direct.
Issuer Auto and General Insurance Company Limited. Read PDS and TMD at budgetdirect.com.au to decide if products suit you. Individual circumstances and policy terms may vary. Compare for yourself.
Get a quote now with Budget Direct.
Australia, the Gem is here. The newest and most exciting prize and rewards program. The Gem is giving away even more. More cars, more cash, more trips, more savings from Australia's best retailers, and even more back to the community. Join the Gem today at thegem.com and you could win a new Ford Ranger Wild Track. Plus $10,000 worth of tools. Enter the code THEGEM to receive your bonus entries. See website for terms and conditions.
We know who you are. If you're looking for somewhere to hide, there is no safe place.
Dan's new series, Hunted, filmed in Melbourne. Premieres 7:30 tonight.
Investing. Some think it's only for the big end of town. But not in Australia. And not at AMP. Because we're a nation of investors at heart. We invest in our homes and our renos. When we put super aside, we're investing for retirement. It's why AMP has been investing in and for Australians since 1849 to help us realise our goals. AMP, for the investor in all of us.
AMP
investing solutions in banking, super, retirement and advice.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Straight after this game, Triple M continues to rock footy.
I got absolute goosebumps watching that.
Join the Temper Mattress call team for the Bombers and Suns. For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's, Triple M rocks footy.
Good blokes don't abuse local umpires. Great blokes call it out. Triple M stands against umpire abuse.
Hey, it's Matt Layson with you. The Greens say they're open to backing Labor's climate legislation, but they'd like to see some amendments. The Albanese government wants a 43% emissions reduction target by 2030. But Greens leader Adam Bant has told the ABC a ban on new coal and gas projects should be considered.
Our preferred approach, our strongly preferred approach, is to improve and pass. But if the government says it's our way or the highway, then we're going to have to respond to that.
Hundreds of extra staff will be deployed across Victoria's hospitals to ease pressure on its health system. Premier Dan Andrews has signed off on a multi-million-dollar package in response to the COVID surge.
Winter is never easy. It's always challenging, particularly now that we have flu and COVID and a changing COVID. This is what viruses do. They fight to survive, so they will keep changing to get beyond the defences that we build.
The carcass of a white whale on a Victorian beach is not the iconic Migaloo. Biologists say while Migaloo is a male, the whale at Malakuta is a female. A former world number one has been inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Leighton Hewitt has become the 34th Australian to join the list. And rumour has it Adele is close to announcing new dates for a Las Vegas residency. The singer axed her string of shows in January, but she promised she would reschedule.
Shop using the Coles app for an easy and convenient experience. You can even use it to find products when you're shopping at your local store. Download the Coles app today.
Checking Melbourne's weather, dropping down to 6 degrees tonight. Showers easing tomorrow, 11 the top, partly cloudy on Tuesday, 12, and mostly sunny on Wednesday. Our listener app is the new home of Triple M. Download now to listen live or on demand. Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Foxtel. 4K Ultra HD. The best way to watch AFL. Only available on Foxtel.
It's half time in Alice Springs and the Demons 5-7-37 lead Port Adelaide by 4 points, 5-3-33. This is the halftime break for Bosch Power Tools. Bosch 18 volt by Turbo. Brushless Tools, 1 battery, quarter power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee. Not far away from a restart. Just quickly, Choice Hotels around the grounds. Ash, the other game has started.
Certainly has, between the Bombers and the Suns at Marvel. Essendon leading Gold Coast by 5 points.
Nick Martin kicked the first goal there. Both clubs back out on the field, ready to start. Beautiful day here in Alice Springs, 24 degrees. Very chilly overnight. It got last night, Duck. Down to 1 in Alice Springs.
It's incredible, isn't it? I didn't think that it got that low overnight, but obviously does. Thought it was going to be a little bit hotter there today too, but the players are handling it really well, aren't they? They don't look to be tiring to me. I know in other years we've seen it be probably a little bit hotter, and you've seen the players really struggling, but they seem to be handling it really well today.
All right, not far away. Both clubs in their respective huddles at the moment. Feel closer to the action with Foxtel's 4K Ultra HD. Watching sport has never looked so good. 4K Ultra HD, the best way to watch NRL, AFL and Formula One. Only available on Foxtel.
How good was the State of Origin, Brownie? Did you watch that on Wednesday night?
Yeah, I did, Duck. Yeah.
It's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ponga was good. Queensland was outstanding. I thought they did a great job. I love Joey Johns after the game. Imagine if you got on Channel 7 and just started throwing them around like that.
He said it how it was.
Okay, 5-7-37 Melbourne, 5-3-33 Port Adelaide, 4-point margin in favour of Melbourne. I thought that they played much better football in that second term. It was an 8-goal term and they kicked 5 and Port Adelaide kicked 3. Fritsch at the moment is the only multiple goal scorer. Marshall, Finlayson, Boak have kicked goals. So too Pickett, Jackson, and Pickett's kicked a couple as well.
Said Pickett twice.
Yeah, both of them beauties. Very hard to forget those ones.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready for a big third quarter here. How do you see this one panning out, boys? Who are you backing in from here, Ross? Stuck?
Well, I think it's a flip of the coin at the minute, Joey. I think who's going to persist long enough with their game style. But if Port can tidy up their skills, they could sneak across the line. But they're struggling to score ultimately, aren't they, Port? So
I think they're starting to find their brand. They found their brand a little bit in that quarter, Melbourne. So I'm expecting Melbourne to kick away with it a little bit in this quarter.
McDonald's and Ream hot water. Triple M rocks footy. It'll be Finlayson and Gawn. Gawn with the height advantage. Beautiful palm down to Sparrow, who went without it. Rosie had a bit of ball in that first half, but it was ripped away by Petrarca. Handball back to Viney. High ball centre half forward. Burne-Jones fed it back to Burton off one step. Kicks it back into the middle of TIO Stadium. Salem and Rosie. Or as butt as it is, Salem wins out. Langdon having a good game on that outer wing. Short kick finds Spargo. So they've got the half forward here, Melbourne. Spargo sees something he likes in the pocket. It was Ben Brown. Well done, Cleary. Burne-Jones mops it up just inside the boundary line. Ollie Wines nearly coughed it up. Houston. His handball went out of bounds. They'll be thrown in inside 50 for Melbourne. Ed Langdon had a big first half, just recapping his numbers.
Certainly did. Number one ranked player was 16 disposals, Joey. 300 metres gained.
Not often you see Ed Langdon in a short sleeve jump up. But he'll run all day, as we know, so the conditions will suit him. Jackson does the ruck work and then had another crack at it. Flipped the ball out the back. Only man there was Boak, but then Neil Bullen beat him. Took the handball out to Sparrow. Sparrow's kick was smothered by Drew. Really good job. Coming in was Salem. Got it back to Sparrow. Standing start. The left footer inside forward 50 and fisted away by Leah out of bounds of a boundary throw-in. Fast start to the Bombers. Choice Hotels around the grounds, Ash.
Geez, they're off to fly, aren't they, Brownie? They're 3 straight 18. Suns one behind early into the first.
Let it break. Book direct and save at choicehotels.com.
I know he's been big numbers, Langdon, but do you think he's had a big effect on the game?
Yeah, I reckon he has. I think he's had influence. He's been involved in a number of their scores. Getting involved in their chains. Maybe not as prolific as he was at the start of the season, but he's just been a bit out of form. So good to see Langdon having a bit of influence in this one as Carl Amon gets the ball towards the wing. May was pushed out of that contest. He'll get the free kick. Oh, it's back gone against Stephen May. So he wasn't happy, and it was Dixon, and it's caught a few of the Melbourne midfielders offside. Powell Pepper got himself in space, dropped the mark, was able to mop up. Then it's going to be an average kick inside 50 to Georgiades because James Jordan, the wing, that's what they do so well, Melbourne. Got back, supported, and then starts the offence with a kick out wide to Neil Bullen.
And you rave about Langdon, but Jordan, he's had a really, really good year. That's another example of it, just pushing hard back into that defensive 50 to take that mark.
Neil Bullen chipped it to Ben Brown, who found Petrarca. Petrarca with a damaging kick looking for Sparrow. It's a really good kick. Sparrow can go left or right. He went right. Opportunity now.
And guess who?
For Jordan.
So he takes the mark in the defensive and then pushes forward.
So from 55 out, the McDonald Rangers just ahead of him behind the goals. It's a lovely backdrop and the kick is good to Jackson, who took a long time to get down for a big man. He's quite agile but just didn't quite seem to get the flight of the ball on that occasion. Boak tackled by Petrarca, good enough to get his handball out. Jordan went after it. Underground handball by Drew was ineffective. Jordan went back, got it high up and under ball. Jackson will be the flyer again. Ground level, where are the Demons players? Coming through was Sparrow. Picking the ball up was Jackson. Back to Brayshaw. 55 out, goes for home. Pickett in the pocket. Pickett can't get it. And Cleary got it through for a rush behind. 5-8-38. Port Adelaide 5-3-33.
So Port Adelaide now under a bit of pressure to start this third term. Amon. No one's on the mark, so he's got all the time in the world just to wait, but there's nothing he really likes, so he's forced to just take a bounce and go long down the line. That's exactly what Melbourne wanted because they had the numbers, although Georgiades did really well. Got it to ground level. Rosie with a crumb. Powell Pepper snuck out the back again. Can he pull off a better kick this time? It was a better kick, but just over the head of Dixon, who was in the box seat on Stephen May. And Melbourne get out of trouble once again. May's kick wide to Ducks man now, Jordan. He couldn't take possession. Out of bounds, centre wing.
It took a long time to pick that up, Stephen May, didn't he? He was very careful over the footy. Had time to do it, though.
And they got lucky, Paul, with that play. They switched and went long down the line to a 1v2. It was just a good contest, got them through.
So the boundary throw in. Just the attacking side of centre wing for Port. Ollie Wines socking it off the ground. Brilliant pick up by Rosie. Then got back up. He got a free kick, Rosie. So Travis Boak was on his left. He elected not to take the advantage, and Rosie left the kick at 55. He's a long kick of the footy. He'll back himself in from here. Houston runs one way, then Finlayson the other, trying to get the handball around the back, but Connor Rosie said, "I'm not having any of that. I'm just going to bang it home." Brilliant kick by Rosie. No higher than a small plum tree. It went 55, and they're back in front, 6-3-39. Melbourne are 5-8-38, and that is on the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
I do like the players with the ability to hit that ball hard and low. They can kick it long with a bit more flight on it, but he can really punch the footy, can't he? That was an impressive kick from 50 out.
Well, it's a great tool to have in your box, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they're match winning those kicks. Like when Petraka gets the ball, but he's had 20. He's coughed up a couple, but that's his first goal. But it'd be nice if he's Batman and Robin. Butters needs to get in the game. He's only at about 8 touches.
Lowered himself there.
Yes.
Get that high thing, but that was Ginnivan, no free. But
Big talking point this weekend, but he struck that flush. He can flush a footy, Connor Rosie. And it's the 8th lead change in this game. So a good game of footy at the top end. Port Adelaide by a point. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Charlie Dixon won the tap. There's the man Butters that Ross wanted to step up. Got that little handball out, so they win the centre clearance. They go inside 50. Port Adelaide, Salem flicks the handball wide to Rivers. Now they get a bit of overlap here. James Jordan again. Although Harms, he gave it to him. Burn Jones saw it, nailed him, and he's hurt Harms. And now the turnover. Here you go, Port Adelaide. Robbie Gray just holds the ball out in one hand, waits for something. Jackson Mead over to Powell Pepper, who's going to snap for 2 in a row. Snapped it too skinny. Through from behind, 6-4-40, Port Adelaide, Melbourne 5-8-38, Triple M Foxtel scoreboard, 4K Ultra HD.
Wow, it was great frontal pressure. Sorry.
You're right, Rossi, go for it.
Sorry, I just thought I'd talk about the game. Great frontal pressure, Darcy Burn-Jones.
Just got some minutes to give away from our sponsors.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I know they fund
They're paying your wage.
Well, not enough.
Port Adelaide to Amon, flipped one out the back to Houston. Houston a short ball, and Amon got it back. Still 2 kicks from home, Amon. Wheels around on the left foot. It's a long, strong ball into the pocket, but beautifully fisted away by Jake Lever. Had that issue in the first quarter, seems to be okay now. Of a boundary throw-in. Choice Hotels around the grounds, Ash.
Bombers, 4-1-25, leading the Suns by 24, 1 point, 13 into the first.
How many's big 2-metre Peter kicked?
Big 2-metre Peter for Triple M, Red Z, 2 majors.
So boundary throw-in, Finlayson won the tap. Ground level, socket off the ground by Finlayson. Ollie Wines playing for a free kick. Chompers Harms went in. And the ball cleared by the Demons. Max Gawn hasn't been a factor today, Max, so far. Charlie Dixon in the ruck against him. Squeezes the left foot ball. That's a brilliant kick to Georgiades, who marks it 40 metres out just near the boundary line. So a cute angle for Georgiades, who I'd imagine this is just about his first kick, Ash.
Triple M Red Z, it is. 15 goals, 20 is his scoring accuracy this year.
Did Dixon mean that kick, you reckon?
Left foot, yeah, stepped out.
He looked like he did. Might have pulled it.
So the first time the leather will hit the boot for Georgiades today. Early into the third term. Kicks on its way, and it looked like a man who hasn't kicked it yet. 2 for 1 behind. And they lead by 3 points, Port Adelaide. 6-5-41. Melbourne at 5-8-38. Foxtel scoreboard.
Well, they're not that productive, are they, off their last 6 entries? True, they're struggling to hit the scoreboard. How are they looking?
Yeah, just 1 goal, 2 from those 6 entries.
Mate, as he always does, goes out in that left side, kicks it as far as he can. Alir knew it, got a big fist in, got it back almost to the 50. Salem did well. Turned his man inside out, kicks it back down the line. Jackson did a great job to bring it to ground for Melbourne. Port Adelaide was sitting under it. They still might win the footy anyway. Charlie Dixon's having an influence. Houston, Amon, Boak, they're all running now along the boundary line. Can they find a mark this time inside 50? They can't. May again with a fist. And then there's another player trying the lowering of the knees, and no free kick paid. It's going to be a ball up. It's becoming a real thing now in the AFL. A lot of players trying it. So I've hitched my caravan to the rule changing next year. So inside 50, ball up. Melbourne Harms on hands and knees. Pow Pepper. Happy to see that out of bounds.
What do you want to happen with it?
I think if a player does that, it should be holding the ball. If they instigate and try and get it, play for a free kick, they should be ping holding the ball.
So a ball up, Port Adelaide doing most of the attacking, particularly in the last 5 minutes. The game being played in their half of the ground. Need to make hay while the sun shines. It doesn't always happen against the Demons. Then they'll have their go again, but inside forward 50 and Bergman just in the right spot at the right time. Drew kicked the footy in, was being tackled and the ball dropped short, and Bergman 30 metres out directly in front.
He's had a lively start too, two-man.
Yeah, Bergman, he certainly 7 touches in that second quarter, 10 for the game and a major.
So Miles Bergman, sounds like a very regal name. 30 out directly in front to extend the lead for Port Adelaide. Makes no mistake, good kick by Miles. And they're now out to 9 points. 5-8, 38 the Demons. Port Adelaide 7-5, 47. Halfway through this third term, Triple M Foxtel scoreboard, 4K Ultra HD, the best way to watch AFL, available only on Foxtel.
And it's a good effort by the winger, isn't it? If he's had 10 and kick one, he's matching up a little bit on Jordan, so they're shaking hands and they're both getting a bit of ball. But it's amazing how often that quick kick out of the congestion, if you're just in front and the first to move, how it falls into your arms.
At the moment, you've got Port Adelaide using the footy. I think the way they're getting their goals has been more impressive because hitting targets going inside 50 like that, Melbourne have got theirs off turnover.
Two-man.
Yeah, and this clearance differential starting to bite Melbourne now. It's 28 to 15 Port's way, but they've kicked 5 goals straight from those 28 clearances. Melbourne just the 1 goal.
Triple M Red Z lending stats, loans for the self-employed. Well done, Ash.
So Gawn decides to just do it himself, grabbed it out of the centre bounce and handballed it 30 metres forward. Viney got his head in the hole, trying to rip it away, but Port Adelaide are up to the task. And we'll get a ball up, 50 out from the Demons' goal.
Choice that tails around the grounds, Ash.
Suns trailing the Bombers by only 6 points. They've kicked the last 3, 3-1-19. Bombers 4-1-25, 17 into the first.
Chompers Harms got the handball out the back, but the only man there was the opposition. Bonner picked it up. Handball was good to Robbie Gray. Gray goes back to Amon. Amon chips the ball wide. Now Butters. Ooh, a sandwich. Nice ball though. Got it to Boak on centre wing. Boak looking for a run up. There wasn't one there, so he lays it off by foot. Perfect kick by Boak. Now they got the runner. Now they run through Rosie. Rosie from 60. Loads up. He goes for home. Top of the square, not going to get there. And the ball forced through almost by the Demons. Pow Pepper stopped them though. Back over the shoulder by Pow Pepper. Second time in this quarter. He's had a gettable shot and missed. 48 plays 38 in favour of Port Adelaide.
Well, that was great play by Port then. Lever was on his man. He just lays off, let him have uncontested mark, folds back. And then it was Boak's over that run. They just put Lever all out of position.
First time today, we maybe think Clayton Oliver being important, not out there. Clearance battle.
Well, the clearance numbers are telling. He's such a big cog, isn't he? And he owns it. When he's not there, it's going to take a little while to adapt.
Oh, Melbourne player's gone down off the ball. It's Max Gawn. He was illegally blocked. A bit slow to get to his feet, the big fella. He's had to cop so much of that from opposition because he's so good. They try and buffer him off the ball. Around the grounds, Choice Hotels. Chew.
There's another goal to the Suns, Joey, so it's all tied up, 4-1-25 apiece, 19 to the first.
Ross's man, Casboult's got 2.
Gawn, long down the line. Aliir with a big fist. Rosie been very good. Handball, and he's going to get a free kick in the back. Two-man, just some of the low possession winners for Melbourne in this quarter.
Yeah, some of their experienced campaigners. Brayshaw, he's only had the 1 disposal. Langdon 1 on the back of 16 in the first half. Viney, just the 1 as well, and Hibbert, 1 disposal.
And this used to be Melbourne's quarter, didn't it?
Yeah.
Q3, they used to dominate the premiership quarter.
Big long kick from Rosie, too far, marked by May. Here is Brayshaw trying to get involved, takes the mark at half back. Switches to Rivers, who has Tomlinson in support, gives the handball. Can they generate something here, Melbourne? Kick will bounce towards Fritsch, feeds it back to Spargo. Port Adelaide do pretty well, kicking board. Tomlinson again, back to Spargo. Now they get some overlap, now they get a good opportunity. Harms, open side, out the corner of his eye, sees Hibbert. And they just go around the moment. Here's Langdon. who's got time and space to pick an option inside 50. Again, he'll go to the pocket. Big Gawn, couldn't take the mark. Cozzy Pickett's lurking out of midair. Cozzy's kicked his third ripper. Then he gets them back within 4 points. 6-8-44, Port Adelaide 7-6-48. That's on the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard. Hang on, Ross, 4K Ultra HD. The best way to watch AFL, only available on Foxtel.
I love HD 4K.
Well, I was a little bit, I thought, is he done the wrong thing here, Langdon? Because he had time and space to use it, but I don't think there were too many leads coming his way. In the end, the kick favoured Gawn. Gawn probably should have marked that, but as all good small forwards should do, Brownie, as you know, and that's be at the feet.
Yep.
Be around there.
Don't run past
You can see the Harvey Norman. You can see Pickett. Now, he read that. He could see that it was going to go over the top. Read it beautifully. I thought he probably should have taken possession, but he thought, no, I'm on fire today, and pops through his third.
If he had taken possession, he probably would have got tackled too by Robbie Gray. So kicked his third, and Duck, you tipped this. You said he was going to have a big day. Pickett's kicked 3. Looked dangerous all day.
Can we drill into the clearances? What's gone missing for Melbourne on their average today?
Well, Gawn and Viney usually average 10 clearances per game combined. Collectively today, they've only had the one. Viney at zip.
Rosie to aim on, sweeps one out the back to Drew. Drew lowers the eyes but kicks it straight back to Salem.
Oh, well, he had 2 layup options on the lead, didn't he? He just missed them completely.
There's a poor kick, poor entry, poor football. Salem, underground ball, smothered by Mead, but he gets it back. Lucky by Salem. He'll get a free kick for being legged. So he kicked it straight into the arms of Mead, who tried to play on with it. And now Lever's got the ball at centre-half back. So Jake Lever from centre-half back pumps it straight up the middle of the ground to centre-half forward. Normally a dangerous kick to put it in this area. Spargo, tackle, get a free kick, Ginnivan style.
Did the exact same thing.
Spargo gets up. He's got players darting back everywhere, and he finds one. And Jack Viney just inside forward 50. He'll take his very best, Jack Viney. He'll have to kick it every bit of 48, 49 metres.
Jeez, I hope you're balanced with your conversation on first crack tonight, Joey. There's another one there that's paid.
Well, players are going to have to start adjusting. Overcompensate. Go lower.
What a Jack Viney's
until they change the rule.
His last 5 weeks, 6 weeks have been awesome.
Yeah, he's had 16 today, Brownie.
As Ross said, very hard player to match up on. Goes really hard, but that's an awful kick. That has floated every way bar the correct way, and Miles Bergman marks it.
Give him a rap.
Oh, kick across the ground. Viney almost picked it off. Bonner, who's had some moments, goes around the body. Farrell and Rivers, the 224s. Ball gets to the back. Tomlinson and Marshall. Well done again, Adam Tomlinson had a nice game back there. Harms able to break away from a couple of tackles. Feeds it back to Brayshaw. Kick around the body. Petrarca couldn't take possession. Well done, Carl Amon. Flicks it out. Ollie Wines had to be tough. His handball picked off by James Jordan. Hot little contest here at the moment. Rosie did it nicely. Spun himself out of trouble and then opens up the ground and finds Bergman. The game really cranking up now. And again, Port Adelaide switch the play to the outer side. Powell Peppers found himself in some space this quarter. Goes for a bit of a gallop. The kick again was pretty ordinary. May read it best, picked it off with ease. And his kick was overshot for Ed Langdon, out of bounds on the full. A lot of mistakes. Good contest though. Powell Pepper will take the free kick. So Powell Pepper, half forward flank, up against the boundary line. High ball. Dixon will fly from the front. Melbourne, plenty of numbers everywhere. Dixon couldn't keep it in, out of bounds. 30 out from the power goal. They lead by 4 points. 7.5 minutes left in this third term. Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
Probably that electric crummer like Pickett's the difference between the two teams at the minute. Port just haven't got that spark at the feet of their tools.
They're in attack at the moment. What can the Smalls do? Jackson went up high. Petrarca cleared the area with a hurried kick, a bouncing ball. Cleary ran over the top of it. Ben Brown got it out to that man that Ross likes. Pickett with pace. Connor Rosey nearly ran him down. That shows you how quick he is. Malcolm backing back. Clever mark with the one hand. Wants to go now. Right foot inside forward 50. He does. Looking for Fritsch. Hates to give the ball off. He'll pick it up, but he gives this one off to Pickett. Pickett got a free kick. Followed up his good work. Jonas jumps on him. Says you're not going anywhere, but Pickett will go back for number 4.
Good work rate from Pickett, wasn't it?
Yeah.
120 metres, wasn't it?
Yep.
Overlap.
Does he lean in? No, he stayed pretty
No, but he
upright.
lifted the arm.
Yeah,
he lifted the right arm. Great skill. I mean, you've got to admire the modern day
But what
player.
we're getting at, a lot of players are doing it now. So we're getting players everywhere doing it. It's becoming a bit of an epidemic.
But if they're going to pay it for Pickett, pay it for Ginnivan.
Pickett for number 4, and to put the Demons back in front. Lead change, number 7 if he kicks it. Pickett, right foot, make no mistake, he's on fire. Best man on the ground at the moment. He's got 4.
I'm not arguing with
7, 8, 50.
No, there is no argument.
7, 6, 48. You just argue after the sponsors sheet then. And we just saw the Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Last chance to receive a bonus gift card on selected home appliance at Harvey Norman shopping store or online. Continue.
No, the whole
your
point
argument.
we're talking about this free kick is that there is one player in the competition
no
that
one's
is
disagreeing
being
with you.
umpired different.
No one's disagreeing with you.
Okay, so you do agree with it.
Yeah, we did this. We had this chat 2 hours ago
Yeah,
on
I know,
Sunday
right.
Rub.
Back to the spark at ground level, Chew. What are the ground ball numbers inside forward 50? Because Pickett's lighting them up down there.
Yeah, chalk and cheese. Melbourne 13 ground ball inside their attacking 50. Port only 5 times, and those 4 majors by Pickett Ross equal PB for him.
Yeah, where's Champion Data got him ranked, Chew?
Champion Data on their ranking system. Pickett, they have him at number 9.
Well, they want to get a new ranking system. He's number 1 by a mile.
Who is number 1, Ash?
Triple M Red said number 1 ranked player Carl Amon and Connor Rosie.
There is Rosie. Almost shoveled out another clearance. Viney taken high. Now the advantage has been paid. Petrarca, they're out here. Neil Bullen. Houston came off his man but didn't stick the tackle. Well done, Neil Bullen. Out the corner of his eye, sees Spargo. If it sits, it's going to be inside 50. Normally a good user going inside 50. Very good kick. In fact, I think he's almost the number 1 kick going inside 50 in the comp, Charlie Spargo. Yeah, very high percentage of marks per kick inside.
Well, let's be honest, the ball shouldn't be there. That's twice Houston's come forward today and laid a tackle that's been walked through. So it's a beautiful kick, beautiful distributor. But sometimes you've got to commit for the team and stick that tackle.
And once upon a time, you'd have this marked down, but he's not as reliable as he once was.
Ben Brown been quiet this afternoon for his first goal of the day. For that customary long run up. He's only going to kick it from 30 on a 45-degree angle. He gets it.
Oh, yeah.
Melbourne get a couple in a row. And they get out to an 8-point lead. They're 8-8-56. Port Adelaide 7-6-48. 5.5 minutes left, third term.
And Finlayson's died out of it this quarter as well. He was number 1 ranked player on the ground for Port at half time. He hasn't gone
spot on
with it.
Second quarter, he had 7 disposals, kicked the goal, only 2 touches in this term.
Choice hotels around the grounds, Ash. There's a game at Marvel.
There is, and it's the Bombers by 3 points over the Suns, 4-4 to 4-1, 29 into the first.
So 5 minutes to go until three-quarter time. Entertaining contest. Port kicked the first 2 goals this third term, and then Pickett got a couple and Brown 1, and the Demons are back by 8 points. Bounce in the middle. Umpire settles himself. Bounce has been pretty good today, and that one is brilliant too. Max Gawn grabs it out of the ruck and then just hoiks it forward with a big handball. Neil Bullen was there. Trying to tap the ball back was Darcy Byrne-Jones. Probably should have taken it with him. Neil Bullen came in. Was able to get a kick off the ground. Houston. Got it out to Butters. Butters with a handball to the outside and Amon. Number 1 ranked player on the ground at the moment, Ash said, down the half forward. And it should have been a good mark paid, but not. Viney eventually picked up for the Demons anyway and pumped it back to half ball where it came from, and Jackson will get a free kick. He took the mark anyway.
And he wants to get it moving because he Pickett's inside 50. Instead he goes wide. Here's Spargo again. Let's see if he can find another target inside 50. Goes to Petrarca. Well done, Carl Amon. Just got to handle it, got it out of bounds.
Seems to be working himself into the game, Spargo, doesn't he? A few critical touches.
14 touches for Spargo.
And Melbourne's clearance work seems to have turned around a bit as well, Chew.
Yeah, 4 out of the past 6, and Gawn has picked up 2 of those, Viney with 1.
The ball thrown in.
So Darryl White on the Harvey Norman, putting up the 3 fingers for the 3 flags.
She did too.
He was going 3 flags.
That's his hometown, Alice Springs.
Hey?
Hometown, Alice Springs.
Zach Butters gets the free kick from that throw in.
Kick goal of the year and took Mark of the Year, didn't he, in the 1 year? Did the double.
He's a pretty good player.
Yeah, the other player to do that, Ross?
Wouldn't be...
Zasto.
For Buzz.
Duck, duck.
So Darcy Burne-Jones in the back pocket. Short ball. He finds Burton. Burton's at half-back, still inside the defensive 50. Quarter time at the other ground, Ash.
It is, and it's the Bombers leading the Suns by 3 points.
Dangerous kick by Burton. Intercepted by Petrarca. Handball out to Jordan. Down towards half forward, ball it over the back, and Spargo couldn't take it with him. Jackson, lumbering big man, picked it up off ground level, but Port Adelaide picked it back in numbers. And Carl Amon hugs the boundary line with a kick, and he hugged it so much that it went over.
Well, they're just hanging on here, Port, aren't they? Melbourne are all over. You can see Nathan Bassett in the coach's box there, just barking instructions.
Under pressure here, Port. Melbourne pressing, lead by 8. James Jordan is going to send it inside 50 again. Port Adelaide got numbers. Benny Brown stood tall. Too much height for Tom Cleary. And he's taken a big contested mark, and he'll go back to kick his second this quarter from almost the identical spot where he kicked one about 6 minutes ago.
They look a different team when he does that, don't they?
Yeah, and Jackson earlier, their big man Max Gorn's getting involved.
Jackson's having an influence. Bullen's been really good too, man. Neil Bullen.
Yeah, along with his pressure, 4 disposals, but 2 tackles and 8 pressure acts in this quarter, Duck.
And pressure rankings through the quarter.
Come back to you shortly.
Ben Brown going for 2 in a row. This will be for a game-high lead for Melbourne, but he hangs it out to the right. So it's an equal high 9-point lead for them there, 8-9-57. Port Adelaide 7-6-48. Triple M Foxtel scoreboard, 4K Ultra HD. The best way to watch the AFL, only available on Foxtel.
So he's 14-11 from set shots now, man.
And his career is 67%, so he's way down.
They moved the ball nicely towards centre wing, but only Max Gawn in the way. Temperature's dropped a little bit here. It's been a warm day, 24 degrees, down to 20 at the moment. Perfect blue skies, but the Alice Springs, Duck, the temperature drops really quickly at this time of year when the sun goes down. There's no moisture in the air or any humidity to keep it in, and it gets really, really cold.
I think Port's pressure's dropping with the temperature.
It's Nathan Bunn.
High ball by Langdon. Ross loved it. Rosie got it out to Cleary. Cleary
easily
to the outside. Alir goes back, and Hibbard went back with courage, but the ball got out the back of him. Brayshaw sweeps one all the way back to Lever, and they'll load up because they switch play and they get it to James Jordan.
Jordan with some time and space. Again uses Spargo as that outlet at half forward. Finds Neil Bullen. 80 out.
Well, Port has stopped shifting the ball, haven't they? They're playing a bit more straight line footy, and it's bringing Melbourne's tools into it.
Neil Bullen's kick into the pocket. It's a bit too high for Fritsch, and easily taken care of by Jonas to get it out of bounds. Minute 25 left on the clock. Inside forward 50 for Melbourne. They lead by 9 points. They led by 4 at half time. Port Adelaide led by 9 at quarter time.
Well, it looks like their pressure ratings are right up, Melbourne.
Yeah, it's cranked it right up. 2:18 last 10 minutes, and front half they're at 81%, Ross.
And first quarter, they're around 160, so it's almost 40% or something.
And they've just been given a free kick from that boundary throw in. Finlayson tried to work Ben Brown under the footy. Umpire said he put too much work into him. And it's going to be Ben Brown for his 3rd shot at goal in a row.
We can't argue with that, but is he out? I reckon he might be a little bit too far out.
He might be. He's going to have to kick it from outside 50.
Yeah, too far for him.
It's like he's starting his run up in South Australia.
On McDonald Hill or whatever it is.
McDonald
Rangers. And now crosses the border. Works his way in. Going to have a shot from outside 50. That's a pretty good attempt. It's going to go right to the goal. And Duck, you're onto it. Couldn't get the journey.
Stop. Tom, join us. Tom.
And he knows that was too far.
There's a blood rule, Tom Jonas. So
that's a poor kick, isn't it? That's a poor kick from.
Well, if you know you can't make the distance, that's a wasted opportunity.
Absolutely.
Tom Jonas is going to come off with a blood rule. Bob Jane T-Marts look after you. Buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash back on top tyre brands. Call 13 26 25 or order online today. bobjane.com.au. What about around the grounds, Stu? Choice Hotels?
It's quarter time. Bombers 4-4-28 to the Suns 4-1-25.
So Tom Jonas takes his time to get off the ground. A bit of blood coming out of his eye. So 23 seconds to go before three-quarter time. The Demons lead by 10 points. Bonner with the kicking out duties. Goes with the short, safe option, and he finds Travis Boak.
Back 2 metres.
Bonner keeps running. Wants it back. He'll probably get it back now into the pocket, but first Boak sees Aaliyah in the middle of the ground. So centre half back Aaliyah down to 6 seconds. I don't know how long is to go, and they just want to wind the clock down. And Aaliyah goes wide, and that'll lose the three-quarter time. Melbourne got the better of that quarter, kicked the last 3 goals, and they lead by 10 points. 8-10-58. Port Adelaide at 7-6-48. We're back after the break with the Duck, with Ross, Joey, and Ash for McDonald's Remote Water. Triple M, Rocks Footy.
That quarter for Foxtel. 4K Ultra HD. The best way to watch AFL. Only available on Foxtel.
For McDonald's,
Triple M Rocks Footy.
100% Aussie Angus beef and chunky tomato relish. Catch a Mighty Angus at Macca's today.
Triple M is your home of the Marty Sheargold Show.
17 players had a lifeline in the AFL's mid-season draft.
Got a Roo Boys update.
Alan Dawson, key defender. He will be on North Melbourne's list.
Well done, mate.
Collingwood.
We had a second pick.
Yeah, and you passed.
Why would you pass?
We don't need anyone.
Of course we need someone, mate. We've won one game. Jeez, we'll pass. What, you going that well, are you? Hey, I said we'll pass.
The Marty Sheargold Show. Weekdays from 6 on Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M.
Campbell Brown here with Andrew Shea, CEO of Builders Academy. What would you say to someone looking to get into the building industry, mate?
Thanks, Brownie. There's never been a better time to enter the building and construction industry. Whether it's starting a Certificate 2 or moving into an apprenticeship in carpentry, we can help those entering the industry or pathwaying towards a Certificate 4 or diploma to become a registered building legend.
Thanks, Andrew. Get in touch with Builders Academy on 1300 Legend.
RTO 21583.
Macca's Creme Brulee Pie and McFlurry have arrived. Crunchy caramel and creamy vanilla custard. Deliciously messy. They're the creme de la creme of desserts. Available after 10:30am for a limited time.
Hi, Rodney Jane here. This month get massive winter deals at Bob Jane T-Marts. If you buy 3 tyres, we'll give you the 4th absolutely free and get up to $100 instant cash back on top brands such as Bridgestone, Yokohama, Continental, Goodyear, Dunlop and J-Trax. We have Australia's largest range of tyres from just $69 and alloy wheels from only $125. Your local Bob Jane store won't be beaten on price. We'll look after you.
T&Cs apply.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card when you connect to a new $69 a month, 24-month SIM-only plan with 80 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. Available now at Harvey Norman. Offer available until withdrawn. Not available with any other offers. Minimum plan cost $1,656. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
We will be charging you with murder.
The critically acclaimed Australian series starring Jessica DeGale and Laura Carmichael returns. The new season of The Secret She Keeps, now streaming, exclusive to Paramount Plus.
A whole house frame's worth of wood is regrown here in Australia every 150 seconds. And every piece is a little miracle of nature. If you work with wood, discover more at woodsolutions.com.au.
Right now, Make-A-Wish is supporting over 800 critically ill kids across Australia. That's more Wish kids than ever before who need your support. Wish kids like Cooper.
8-year-old Cooper has a rare neurological condition and often spends his holidays in hospital. His biggest wish is to have a fun holiday in the snow, throwing snowballs and building a snowman. Thanks to Make-A-Wish, that's all about to come true.
Helping sick kids like Cooper find hope is something we all have the power to do. You can help create inspirational wishes. Donate today at makeawish.org.au.
Crypto, boring. Property, too expensive. Invest in something that you can have fun with. Motorbikes. Classic 80s Jap, British Road, American Muscle and Colt Motocross. Buy it schmick or fix it up. There's thousands of collectible bikes for sale now at justbikes.com.au.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M Rocks Footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
It's 10:58. The Demons 7-6, 48. Port Adelaide three-quarter time. Bill Tough rising issues when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install the room. Port Adelaide dominated the first 10 minutes of that quarter, and we're all discussing that Melbourne's quarter is the third quarter, and then out of nowhere, Melbourne dominated the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it was off the back of it was actually off the back of some really good contest. I thought Neil Bullen's pressure went to another level. I thought Jackson competed really well, and then Pickett obviously hit the scoreboard. So in the end, because they looked in trouble, I thought Port Adelaide had the better of the first part of that third term, Ross, and then they flipped it.
Yeah, I agree, Duck, and they flipped it off the back of their strength, which is clearance. So they were 0-6, and then Viney got to work in there, Max Gorn got to work, and they generated, they love ground position, Melbourne, they love locking it in there, and then because they got it in deep, they allowed their small forwards to pressure, get to it, and Port couldn't shift the ball off the line and go around them. They took off their uncontested mark game and forced them into a contest, which Port don't like to do, and I thought Melbourne's bigger bodies and intensity got hold of them, which allows the pressure. So their pressure rating went to 218. First quarter was 160. Why was that? Because Port were able to mark the ball, continue, keep the pressure off. Well, they took that off them and they forced them to contest, and allows Melbourne big, aggressive bodies to get to work and apply the pressure and score off that.
Triple M Red lending stats, loans for the self-employed.
Yeah, D's last 6 entries inside 50. They won 5 out of the last 9 clearances, and they kicked 2-1 from those 5 clearances, Melbourne. But Rosie, leading ball winner with 27. His PB in his career is 31.
So Rosie, leading possession getter on the ground. What about for Melbourne?
Melbourne 21 to Petrarca, throwing 8 clearances as well.
Okay, for McDonald's and Remote Water, Triple M, Rocks Footy, start of the last quarter. The Demons lead by 10 points. Here's Lee Montagna.
This is Port Adelaide's season on the line here. Fourth quarter for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks Footy. Petrarca and Viney. They work together again to get the first centre clearance of the fourth term. Cozzy Pickett lurking. He's already kicked 4. Unselfishly didn't go for goal. Tried to square it up. It went backwards to Neil Bullen. Langdon. Quite a third term for him after a good first half. Gorn started in the goal square. And Aliir outmarked him. Did well in the back pocket.
It's great faith in Jackson, isn't it? Like we saw in the grand final. Gorn go forward, let Jackson get the work around the ground.
Port Adelaide want to get this uncontested mark game going again. They couldn't generate it much in that third term. And they do. They transition it from one side to the other. Get it up towards the wing. Powell Pepper with the footy. Sees the lead. Good kick. Finds Robbie Gray. Wants someone to run past. He had Powell Pepper, but he had him on the outside, so ignored him. Now called to play on. And has to just poke it on the left boot. It'll give Charlie Dixon a good chance. Good defence from Stephen May. And then again, Petrarca won that contest and fed it out to Viney. And there's Fritsch working forward. Comes inboard. Petrarca really lifting his side in this second half. Takes the mark. Has to back off. And now has Cozzy Pickett on a lead. Goes towards him. Oh, Tom Sparrow got in the way. And then had a little fumble. Tommy Sparrow. And Port Adelaide get out of trouble, and it's with Jonas.
Come on, Tom.
Go on, the hottest man on the ground. Pickett, he's cut him off like an intercept defender.
Nothing worse than when mids run into your territory trying to get a cheap kick.
Jonas went long, and Stephen May got a big fist on it. Now Port Adelaide squeezed the ball out to the other side. Miles Bergman. Stand! Still in defensive 50. Trails by 10 points. 48 plays 58. Early stages last term. Bergman asked to move it on. So he goes wide with the ball, looking for Cleary out there. The ball bounced nicely for him. Got a bounce. He wants to have a second bounce. He's going to run a long way out of second bounce. Melksham's almost got him. Really good tackle by Melksham. The umpire called it out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing.
Gave up twice on the chase then, Melksham, and then finally decided, now I'm going to have a go, and he caught him.
He had the head wobbles there for a little bit at the start.
And then he thought, actually,
he's keeping
hang on,
going.
This is on tape. I better get going.
I can dig in here.
Just shows, Ross, you've always got that little bit more. And he found it, Melksham. Viney wrapped up, and he's been ping-ponging the ball. Gee, that was stiff. Maybe Dan Houston will take it right on the Toyota logo. Centre wing out of side. Short again. They want to control this footy. They want to make Melbourne defend the full ground. Jonas. They'll sit off him. They'll be happy for Jonas to kick. Good one to Bonner.
Stand.
Has Wines in the middle. He's got a bit of time and space to look at the game. He does, and he goes into the pocket. Dixon's in this contest. Stephen May again right there. Pow Pepper looking dangerous. Handballs to Robbie Gray. Normally good in this situation. Handballs inboard. Dixon back to Rosie. Thought about the kick. Instead gave it to Bergman, who's already kicked one miraculous goal, but that time was under pressure. Out of bounds on the full. Probably just overdid it, Port. And good defence from Melbourne. And we'll see Lever have it in the back pocket.
We see Port realign to their strategy, I think, the coaching instruction. Let's get back to our game. Let's build the ball up. There's a chain of 600 contested marks before the entry.
So, played 3 minutes 42 in the last quarter, but no score yet. Petrarca's quick handball up to Bedford. Bedford a slider. Got it out to Bailey Fritsch, who's got players ahead of him. He just wants to put it out in front. Melksham had that big chase. Cleary's like, I can't go. I gave my best effort around the wing. And Drake the Snake runs in and kicks a big goal. You were foxing on the wing, Drake. You said you was coming back now. And you went bang.
The roles were reversed.
The roles reversed, and I tell you what, he ran away from him when he was running towards goals.
He found the gear. Found the gear.
Found the gear, all right. I wasn't a good transfer. You know where it started, Petrarca? The handball, the really slick handball.
Well, he stood out all day with his skills, hasn't he? By hand or foot, he separated himself in class. But that was poetic justice, that. Reversing the rolls over the top into the paddock.
Oh, you're always quicker when you're always quicker.
Absolutely.
In that situation. But this handball here, the Harvey Norman, just that slick give.
And to win the contest, Stuck, wasn't he? Like that body work, push him off.
Easy.
The ball, keep his feet. That's the power, isn't he? In his, what is he, mid-90 kilo beast, isn't he?
Yeah, he's that Mark Rasciuto size.
100%.
Yeah.
Big game for Christian Petrarca now, and he's separating himself, and the scoreboard's starting to separate the way of the Demons, and here he is again, Petrarca. Arches the back, kicks a high ball inside 50. Benny Brown's going to fly. Couldn't take the mark. Ground level dangerous. Harms lurking. Almost got a free kick. Umpire said no. Jonas, a little fumble. Ball up 40 out.
He's probably the only one today that hasn't dropped down for the high tackle, Harms. He wants to add it to his repertoire.
Nathan Bassett now, of course, without Ken Hinkley, just got some concerns how they can get back in this game. Port Adelaide. Boak and Rosie, they might have to lift. They win this clearance, get it towards the wing. Zach Butters, can he have an influence? Pops it around the corner. Powell Pepper keeps finding space, takes the mark, just needs to polish up this part of his game. Pops it over to Finlayson, who had to keep his eye on the footy. Well done, Tomlinson again. Left his man, did enough to affect the spoil. Now Will and Drew finds Kane Farrell, and this kid can kick a footy.
He's in another generation.
He'd be dead.
He would have been put in another generation.
That was Ray Card coming out on Chief Greg at Cardinia Park. It was all over.
He did that. Tom, he actually slowed down there because he knew it was going to be a line ball.
And the players are better for it, Duck.
Yep.
Yeah, we like the adjustment, Joey.
Kane Farrell, safety first. Needs to kick this goal. 50 metres out straight in front. Is it going to hold its line? No, he just hooked it late. That's a bad miss for a beautiful kick. 7-7-49 Port Adelaide. Melbourne 9-10-64. 15 minutes left, fourth quarter. Triple M Beacon trade scoreboard.
Stephen May does the kicking in, and he's found Rivers. Rivers looks for Langdon and Bergman, both long hair operators. Ball goes out of bounds.
And when you've only had 4 touches for the day, you've got to make that count if you're Farrell. You're such a beautiful kick. You've got to be that opportunist to make a difference.
So boundary throw in half forward for Port Adelaide. They need a goal. They trail by 15 points. At the back to Jackson Mead. His handball was quick to Butters. Butters underground ball picked up by Powell Pepper beautifully. He's had 3 snaps today now. Has he got one of them? No. Hits the post on the bounce. So it's 14 points the difference. 9-10-64 Melbourne. 7-8-50 for Port Adelaide. Beacon trade scoreboard. Supporting tradies. 120 stores. Expert trade teams. Design services. Huge range of electrical products. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier.
May's kick in long and wide again. Port Adelaide got numbers there, although the handball from Dixon didn't work out. Melbourne now win it back, and now they're off to the races. Spargo's got options everywhere, just has to think their way through it. Bedford got Fritsch, forward handball. Jordan over the top to Melksham. He's going to get a couple in this fourth quarter. No, he unselfishly squares it up to Benny Brown. Good footy by the D's. Again, they transition from one end to the other. And it'll be Ben Brown to go back to kick his second.
Well, we spoke about the run and the heat, but Melbourne just seemed to be on transition, finding a leg. They've outrun Port Adelaide down the spread, just overwhelmed them with numbers.
Shouldn't miss this, Benny Brown. 30 metres out straight in front to get it out to 20 points. Takes his time. Important kick. They've kicked the last 4 in a row, this to make it 5 in a row. And they've broken this one open. They're out to 20 points. Brown's got his second. Melbourne look in control. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard 10-10-70. Port Adelaide 7-8-50.
Well, this was their strength in the run home last year, in the latter rounds and into the finals. Their strength was being able to pile on goals quickly when they were challenged, and that's what we've seen here. And it's off the back of some of their stars. Petrarca, Viney have just been really, really strong in the contest.
Game high, Ash.
Yeah, spot on, Brownie. Game high. And Petrarca, 26 disposals, 9 clearances, 98 kilos he weighs, Ross.
90. It's incredible midfield, isn't it? What do you play at, Duck? How many kicks?
96 to 98.
Well, there you go. Puts it in context, doesn't he? That's why he moves them off those ground balls. You never see him on the ground, do you? He's just powerful through the legs.
So for McDonald's Remote Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Have Port got anything left in the tank? Soccer off the ground by Viney. Went to half forward. Darcy Byrne-Jones picked it up nicely to Farrell. Farrell's handball was pickpocketed by Pickett. Got it out the back to Viney again. Viney's handball was wild forward, but only as far as Darcy Byrne-Jones, who handballed it off to Houston. Houston with the right foot. Looks for centre wing, and he's found Boak. Boak quickly moves the ball on towards half forward. Ill-directed, though. Stephen May came out, missed that one. Lever got the ball out towards Hibbert. Hibbert to Rivers. Rivers coughed it up. Wines picked that up. Handball forward. Marshall, been quiet today. Kicked the goal in the first term. Doubles back inside forward 50. And the ball smashed out of bounds by Rivers for the boundary throw-in.
He did great there, mate. Good signs from mate. Come forward to attack the ball. Just as the game's gone on, he's got better and better.
Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super making hard work pay off. Ross Lyon, Wayne Carey.
There's Marshall's first stat in the second half, Joey.
Good one, Chew. Red Z Lending. Loans for the self-employed. Melbourne win another clearance.
High, Port Adelaide.
Although just off the ball, it was Trent Rivers, I think, that just clipped Will and Drew high. So this is another opportunity for the power. Will and Drew doesn't want the responsibility. Goes short, finds Ollie Wines. And he will go back and take the responsibility and see if he can get his side back to 14 points. Still plenty of time on the clock. 45 metres out straight in front.
That's your line. Stand. Take him out, please, Ryan.
Oh, he's having his shot. Choice Hotels around the grounds. Chew, couple of bottles of Grange on this one.
Ooh, Bombers, Joey. You'd be happy. They're out to a 15-point lead over the Suns, halfway into the second.
It is now.
What's his career here, Chew? Ollie Wines coming in.
31-33 from set shots.
50-50, but it's an important moment. Does it hold its line? No, it doesn't. Another miss. So they can't put some pressure on Melbourne. Port Adelaide 7-9-51. Melbourne 10-10-70. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard supporting tradies with over 120 stores. Expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon making every tradie's job easier.
Matey kick it in. Normally plays on, and why not? When you kick it long towards centre wing and get some distance on it to Gawn, front of the pack, Demons players. Sparrow hit it out the back towards Jordan. Salem back to Jordan, running out of room, goes out of bounds.
Just since the 10-minute mark of the third quarter, Melbourne, as we know, are getting belted in regards to clearances. They've broken even, but they've kicked 5-2 to Port Adelaide's 3 behinds.
It's a 70 round from the Port goal. Jackson does the ruck work solo. So easily got it down to Jack Viney, who pumped it on the right foot. Bouncing ball came up the top of Ben Brown's head. Then he laid a tackle on Cleary. Snatched out of his hands. The Demons could be off to the races here. Pickett, they won't catch him. They won't catch him from 55. For 5 for Pickett. And that's the game. What a player he's been today. Sparrow robbed him of one as well. Should have had 6. And now it's a 25-point margin, 76 plays 51 in favour of the Demons. Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Well, he's a bums on seats man, as Howie would say, wouldn't he? He's an exciting proposition, but Brown's been pivotal today. He's contested everything that's come his way. He brought that to ground, and Spargo's work rate with the continued run, outnumbering and picking it up, and the class of pick. He's just a natural finisher, isn't he? Remember those guys like Fruity Ellison and Buick? They just don't look like they're going to miss. They just pick it up. He's just straight line everything. And like Dacos, just class finish.
So what's been the thought on the hybrid model with only the 2 talls and then the 2 medium sizes in Melbourne?
Well, I think it's worked for him if you're bringing it to ground, hasn't he? But Brown's been effective. Gawn spent time there. But I thought Fritsch after the first quarter really lifted as well.
Melcham's been good.
So it's worked nicely for the Demons, and they're out to 25 points. Ream Hot Water built tough for Aussie conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install the Ream. Secondary stoppage.
I thought early when the pressure was on and they weren't playing their best, Melcham's pressure, tackling and that was really good, and that's what you want from those middle-sized players.
And that's the advantage maybe of having that hybrid. You get a bit more forward pressure. That's been an issue for Melbourne.
And then as the game goes on, you've got Max Gawn going into the stoppages, flipping it everywhere he wants. That momentum around the stoppages is continuing to build.
So Bedford goes into the pocket. Fritsch was in that contest, couldn't take the mark. And Bergman mops it up. Got to get a move on now, Port. They need 5 goals. Or at least 4. Lever. Harms. Gawn lets it bounce and wait. Feeds it back to Salem. Did it nicely. His kick's a wobbler. Zach Butters is there, and now he's a chance for Port Adelaide. Can they get the ball moving? Rosie twists and turns and spins and does it nicely to Burn Jones.
Burn Jones doesn't know where to go, runs himself into some trouble. The high ball, getting back. It's Max Gawn on centre wing, marks it easy on his chest. So Gawn's got some players backwards, and he goes back there to Brayshaw. Handballs off to Stephen May. A short ball to Salem on centre wing, marks it. She's just slowing the game down now, the Demons. Still 9 minutes 39, but I don't think Port are playing well enough. They still have to kick 5 goals, and they've only kicked 7 for the day. So Brayshaw. Called to play on now. Just chips the ball towards half forward. Won't get inside forward 50 in the mark taken by Dixon.
So now they might have to change up the way they've been playing Port. They're going to have to go more direct, longer, quicker. That's what Burton does. Powell Pepper, too strong for Stephen May.
He's been lively.
He's been very good all year, Powell Pepper. Gives it to Rosie. 55 out. He doesn't go for home. He screws it to the top of the square, but Melbourne got numbers back again. Hibberd takes the easy mark.
On Powell Pepper, do you see him transitioning back to being a midfield at some point in his career? Or he's made this role his own? What? He's got a tank, he's big, he's a ball winner. Why won't he end up back in there?
I just think Port Adelaide have just decided he's a forward, he's a powerful, good pressure player, he's good in the air, good at ground level, and they've moved on without him in the midfield.
I think you can pinch hit with him. You can certainly throw him in there for a
but they don't. They don't throw him in there at all. There's Melbourne transition again on the outer side here. Neil Bullen, Langdon continuing to run hard. Petrarca. 60 out, goes into the pocket, and guess who? Cozzy!
You called this, Duck.
Duck, you called this. You should have hitched the caravan to him. Cozzy's going to run around on the left boot, and he's going to kick 6. He's put on a clinic.
It doesn't look like missing. The fans in the stand, it's great to see. AFL gets criticised for a lot, but this game getting taken to Alice Spring, they do it really well, the AFL, take the game nationally.
12-10-82 Melbourne. They've blown this one open now. Port Adelaide 7-9-51, 31-point margin. Still got 8 minutes to play.
And that's his PB. His PB was 5, so he's just extended that PB.
Yeah, coming today, 4 majors spot on, Duck, and he's had 6 ground ball in the front half, which is the most of any player. And especially with those pressure acts, Duck, with those forwards for the Demons. Melksham, Spargo and Neil Bullen, they've had 12 in the front half, which is the equal most of any player.
It's a 3-vote performance for Pickett.
It is.
And they're running on strong, Melbourne, aren't they? Very strong. They'll take great confidence from this. Go into state, play a team that's desperate to win. This finishes Port, doesn't it, for the year if they weren't already?
Yep.
Joyce Hotels around the grounds.
Bombers leading the Suns by 23 points, 22 into the second.
For McDonald's, Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Finlayson out of the middle. It's a high ball, hard one to mark. May, that's a big fist on that. A little bit more than he got on Melksham, apparently. Goes wide and mark taken by.
There's a zinger.
That was from all reports. He's been good again today, mate. He's working his way back into a bit of form. Fisted away by Gawn. Chips the ball into the middle. Go Port Adelaide. Pickett's pressure was good. Gave away a free kick, though. And Butters will get it.
Instead of going forward, Butters, he goes lateral.
Is he the most exciting small forward in the competition, Isaiah Pickett? Is there anyone quicker, more skillful?
Charlie Cameron?
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah,
Stengel's been good.
Stengel's been good, but Cozzy's got a bit more X factor, doesn't he, than Stengel? Just
probably Pickett and Cameron that speed, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been
real quick, aren't they?
Dynamic. So 31-point margin now, 7 minutes to go. Been a great display.
And I don't think he's hit the scoreboard for a while. So how do you plan for that as an opposition? He's going to kick 6.
There was no ruck for Port Adelaide, so Gawn grabbed it, but Marshall was sweating on him, and Viney drills a low ball, but only as far as Burn-Jones. Called to play on. And again, they're still going to play with this short kicking game. It's now 115 marks for Port Adelaide. Have you seen the method, Ross, this short kicking method?
Well, I think it's their style. I think they get the best out of them. They haven't got many tall men. But I was just thinking, like, you can have all your neat little halfback flankers in the world that can kick it around, but it's the balls inside, isn't it? And the electric. Robbie Gray isn't. He's been a great player, but he's not what he was, is he? You know, that real speed. Butters hasn't delivered. If you compare Butters to the Pickett role, who would you rather be?
In the end, Jonas just wheeled and kicked it straight down the throat of Max Gawn.
They haven't been able to sustain at the source, the clearance, I think, has been they had been able to do that, but I think it gets back to the big man Jackson. Dixon faded out of the game after the first half. He's missed a lot of footy. There's been left to too few in the midfield, I think.
Travis Boak handballed it off to Darcy Burn-Jones. Rosie has been their best, got it back to Boak. They thread it through to Ollie Wines. Wines already missed the goal in this last quarter, got it back to Boak. Well done, really good football, and Boak gets a late one for Port.
And he just keeps running, Boak, doesn't he? He's had a lot of uncontested possession, but he used to win more contested possession inside that he doesn't seem to do now.
Kick 2 today, Boak, and it makes it a 25-point margin, 12-10-82 the Demons, 8-9-57 Port Adelaide Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Because that handball from Wines is pretty special. I mean, he was getting out of trouble, did the 360, but then to deliver the handball so Boak doesn't break stride, that's the key to that.
It's beautiful, isn't it? But at the end of the day, if you're Ollie Wines, right, and you reflect on the game, what do you reckon? Yeah, I hit that handball, I did this, but when we could have gone back to 14 points with 8 minutes to go, I needed to kick the goal 30 metres out, didn't he?
That was a big moment. Yeah.
They're the moments that you'd pride yourself on, wouldn't you? The top flight players go, yeah, I'm going to kick this.
25 points, too little, too late now, and that breaks a run of 7 consecutive goals. Chu, is that correct?
6.
6 consecutive goals. Is now Finlayson, streams out of the midfield. Can he find a mark? It was Farrell on the lead. Well done, Hibbard. Good defence, and then won the footy in the end. Sweeps a handball forward. Robbie Gray will be first onto it. Powell Pepper. Can he find a mark inside 50? Goes towards the pocket. Georgiades and May. Georgiades has had a dirty day. Well done, May.
Great contest, May, wasn't it?
And then Hibbard gets back to support, but the kick high and long outside the defensive 50. Sitting under it was Riley Bonner. He's got the ball now, 60 out, but Melbourne have got time to get all their numbers back inside defensive 50. There they all are, queuing up. And Salem's the one that takes the mark.
It's their 15th intercept mark inside their D50, Melbourne. They average 7 per game.
Yeah. So Port have tried to sort of find some options inside 50, but that final kicks allowed Melbourne to get a lot of numbers back. Boak. Could have been a throw. Powell Pepper still working hard. Can he finish off his work with a goal? No, just the part of his game that lacks the polish out of bounds on the full.
But that's the conundrum, isn't it? We're going to shift them because we can't go through them because they're too big and strong. But we go around them, we build it up. It allows them to get back, and then you've got to be more precise. So I think their strategy's been right for the personnel, but it's hard to affect it, isn't it? Like effectively, once the ground narrows into your D50.
Houston almost outmarks Max Gawn, and the ball goes out of bounds. He dropped it to a boundary throw in 4 minutes 28 to go in this one. Ash.
So Pickett is on the bench at the moment, but with his 6 majors, no Melbourne players kicked more than 6 against Port Adelaide. David Neitz has done it 3 times, and Pickett currently has 6 as well.
Nice one, Ash. Triple M Red Z lending loans for the self-employed. Boundary throw in. Wines still trying. Got a ball out to Gray and Boak. Boak's kicked a couple. Sends it on its way, looking for his third. Marshall marks the footy all over the goal umpire. And what was impressive about the goal umpire being tangled up in that one, he kept his sunnies on.
He didn't move out of the pack. He stayed in the pack.
He wanted a piece of it. And now he signals a goal for Marshall, who kicks his second, but very impressive by the goal umpire. Somehow got himself tangled up in a pack marking situation on the line and stood up in it.
Yep. It was a good mark by Marshall, wasn't it? He started the game well, drifted out. What are the final numbers, Stu?
Yeah, 10 disposals, Doug, 5 marks and 2 majors.
Well, he's a positive out of this year. If they can get some positives, it's a development of some of these players who have come on a little bit. Rosie, we now know, is a bona fide midfielder, not a forward pinch hit mid. So they've had some questions answered, Port. I think they're a club that can bounce.
Yeah, you're right. Their first 5 games of the year just allowed no room for error. They've, like last week against the Dockers, but
have they got enough to be a contender for next year, Port Adelaide?
No, I think they're a little bit short. To be honest, I think they're key back short. Jonas plays above his height. They're a little bit thin there compared to the best in the competition. I'm talking.
Well, you hear a couple want to go, so it depends who they get for those, Joey. And geez, they've had a couple. They've nailed a couple of drafts, haven't they?
Yeah, well, they've won another centre clearance, and all of a sudden, Rosie's taken the mark 50 out. And again, they've gone short inside 50, and again, this time it'll work. Will and Drew.
He just doesn't want to take a shot, does he?
No, he passed one off earlier from a similar spot. Has to go back now.
So if they have a similar trade period like they have in prior years and get a couple in, then...
well, they've had some injuries. Lycett's been out all year. Dersma, what's happened to him? He's injured and off the boil a little bit. Yeah.
So big kick for Will and Drew to get him back to 13 points with still time. Needs to kick the goal. He has. And all of a sudden, 3 minutes 15 on the clock. They're back within 13 points, and it's still possible. 10-9-69. Melbourne 12-10-82. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Question needs to be asked, Ross. Why didn't he go back the 2 times before that when he had the opportunity? Because he kicks it nicely.
I couldn't agree more, Brent. But we've all seen it, haven't we? The body, he's a bit cat on a hot tin roof. I got to pass it off. Go back, take the responsibility on, kick the goal. You got to lead from the front, so you can't sneak around, son. You did that really well.
He looks like that guy out of Entourage.
I've watched a fair bit of Entourage.
Yeah, out of Entourage.
Oh yeah, reckon?
Yeah, good one.
Not bad.
He's probably a bit tall for him. He's probably a little bit smaller than that, isn't he?
Yeah, 2 arms, 2 legs.
He's a rover.
That's a similarity.
All right.
Righto.
What have we got left? 3 minutes 13 for Port Adelaide. The last 10 inside forward 50's gone. Wins the tap out from McDonald's Room Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy. Finlayson. Handball back to Robbie Gray. Playing some midfield minutes. Darcy Byrne-Jones. Quick fire handball. Finlayson runs through the middle of the ground. Left foot ball. High up and under. Can't get underneath. That one was Marshall. Stephen May. Quick handball. Petrarca. Got a quick one out towards Max Gawn. The bounce of the ball will be important here. Max tackle to the ground. Powell Pepper. Release Boak. Boak for number 3 from 50. Hooked it too far. He had players on everywhere, Travis. And the mark taken quite comfortably in the back pocket by Brayshaw.
He does that well, Brayshaw, doesn't he? Releases his player into congestion and he just gets that kick behind spot.
Yeah, they just need to milk about 30 seconds or a minute and they'll seal the game. They're 13 points up. Port Adelaide are pressing, but they've just left it a little bit too late. Robbie Gray gone into the midfield, being good. Jackson with a blind turn. Release the handball. That'll be enough now. Neil Bullen finds Fritsch, although the umpire said not 15, so Fritsch was tackled. Petrarca follows up. Couldn't get the handball free. Byrne-Jones taken into tackle. This is all in the middle of the ground. Houston, 360. Umpire said play on. Neil Bullen wants everyone to dive on top of him. He's happy to take the stoppage. Minute 57 on the clock. Half forward for Melbourne.
And you can't underestimate the extra heat these conditions are taking out of these two teams.
Gone to Petrarca, clearance number 10. Pumps it inside 50, but Jonas in front of Fritsch. It's going to have to go the full length of the field. All 168 metres of it.
Ollie Wines at centre half back. Just strolling around like there's a quarter and a half to go. Needs to move it a bit quicker than that. He looks for Boak at a 50-50. Fisted back. Pickett, can he pick it up inside the boundary line? Does. Wants to get around Burton. Now the right footer inside forward 50. The target is Fritsch. Fisted away. Cleary at ground level. Got it out to Ollie Wines. Kicked straight back to Melbourne.
It's James Jordan.
Just take the whole 30 now.
Yep.
It's a game over. While we're on entourage,
yeah,
a little bit like Turtle. Jelly.
James Jordan. I've heard that one before.
That came from Ramsey, by the way.
Ramsey. Quite down back there. So James Jordan's going to have a shot from outside 50. No, he doesn't. He just pulls it into the pocket, kicks it straight to Cleary. 45 seconds left. Good kick to Powell Pepper. He's trying to get it moving. He's had a big last term, Powell Pepper. As we said, they left it just a little bit late. Melbourne have been really in control since about quarter time when Port Adelaide led by 9 points. And they'll go back to equal top of the ladder. I'm not sure the percentage is enough, though, Chew, to get them on top. I think it'll be the Cats, but the D's...
4.5%
stepped up when they've needed.
Behind the Cats, Joey, level on points like what you said.
Petrarca, last inside 50. Can Cozzy Pickett get one more? He's lurking. Fritsch will kick it to the top of the square. Who's going to sit under it? No one. The siren goes. Will the points stand? It will. And in the end, the D's flex their muscles. It was workmanlike, but they got the job done without Clayton Oliver. And they go back to equal top, and they end up winning by 14 points against the gallant Port Adelaide. Six goals to Cozzy Pickett. Ben Brown kicked the couple. Bailey Fritsch kicked the couple. They went with a hybrid forward line with Jake Melksham down there, just the two talls. The smalls got to work. They had a bit more space. And in the end, they had a bit too much class, particularly in their front half. They evened up around the contest in the second half of the game, and Port Adelaide struggled to score. And in the end, Wayne Carey, Ross Lyon, it was a pretty strong performance by Melbourne against a team who'd been in really good form.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, Port Adelaide had their moments. Melbourne were able to hang in there, and they had control for big parts of the game as well. But I thought they got back to a little bit of their DNA. But let's have a listen to Cozzy Pickett, thanks to Channel 7.
But he just wanted me to come out here and just play my right, that's about it. And I was able to do that.
You've got the record for Darwin and Ellis here for kicking the most goals of any AFL footballer. How's that feel?
I don't know about Darwin, I haven't played there yet, but yeah, I'll hold it for here, I guess.
And you gave a little bit back to the community, so and you've given a bit back today.
Yeah, obviously we got the win for the crowd, all the supporters here. We love them, we love the Traeger tribe. Yeah, it's unbelievable coming up here and just going out to Santa Teresa, seeing all the people out there. Yeah, it's just very humbling.
Well done, congratulations.
Yeah.
Cozzy Pickett there. True, his numbers, Red Z Lenning, the full numbers for Cozzy Pickett this afternoon.
14 disposals, Joey. He had 7 ground ball in the front half of the ground, which was the most of any player. 8 score involvements, in fact, and a PB in regards to majors with 6 goals.
Very good game for Cozzy Pickett. Ross Lyon will do the Triple MVP of votes later on. I'm sure Cozzy Pickett will feature really high. This is the Triple M Amy review. Submit your fan clanger story to amy.com.au/fansurance. And you could win.
I've been nominated from someone on Twitter already.
Have you? We'll go quickly back down to courtesy of Channel 7 to take a listen to Christian Petrarca. Who else will probably feature?
They're playing for a final spot, so it was going to be coming out and going to be a tough game. And we need to get back to playing our great footy. And I thought we did that in patches, but at the end of the day, we got the 4 points, which is the main thing.
No Clayton Oliver, obviously, that was going to struggle within the clearances, but 10 clearances yourself, so you're able to get the ball out of the middle.
Yeah, I guess so. It helps when Big Gorney's putting it down your throat. But I miss my partner in crime, Claz. He'll be back next week. He had a bit of FOMO out there. He was probably crying last night. He's such a competitor. So, but I thought the best thing, the beauty about our midfield is that we're able to spin a lot of guys through, have high rotations. Spaz, Harmsy, so many guys, and even Cozzy coming up and kicking 6, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that was a great game. Have you ever seen him play like that before in a practice match or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. He's just a special talent. He's an absolute freak. sometimes you question whether he should give first give, but then you go, you know what, if he does things like that, then just let him do himself. So no, he's such an amazing person, talent, and we love him at the footy club.
Thanks, Chris. Enjoy the win.
Christian Petrarca's numbers, Chew. Red Z Lending, another big game.
30 disposals, Joey, 10 clearances. You also had double figures in terms of score involvements with 10.
McDonald's 100%, Aussie Angus beef and chunky tomato relish. Catch a mighty Angus at Macca's today. Just a couple of the other numbers as we start to wrap up this one before we take the second half of Essendon v the Gold Coast Suns at Marvel Stadium. A couple of other stats, Chew.
Yeah, just some team stats here. Melbourne 16 intercept marks inside their defensive 50. You look at their scores from turnovers, 5 goals won from scores from turnovers from the back half of the ground for the Demons to the Port at only 1 goal 2. Overall was 8-9 to 3-6 from that score source, Joey.
Choice hotels around the grounds, half time at Marvel.
It is, and it's the Bombers. They're up by 30 points, 5 goals to 1 in that second term. They're 9-10-64 to the Suns at 5-4-34.
Bottle of rosé going
your way.
Four sisters.
The Triple MVP Award for homeloans.com.au, the best and fairest when it comes to home loans. You've got the votes today, Rossi.
I certainly have, and I gave one to Rosé. I just think he's a revelation in the midfield. He's had a PB 33, 11 contested, 4 clearances, 500 metres gained and a goal. I just thought, he was a little bit sloppy at times, but overall I think they would have been in real trouble without him. Petrarca too, the midfield bull, 98 kilos or whatever he is. And look, Chew's gone through his numbers, but 30, 17 contested, 10 clearances, 550 metres gains, set up a number of goals. He was clean, he was a beast, and gee, he was special today. I don't get excited that often watching AFL football, but Pickett, 6 goals won. He was all class. He did them on the run going in left foot, right foot. He swerved. You know, he did the one where he started at half back. He ended up finishing the goal square with hard run. He's just an excitement machine. And to see the joy that he brought to the crowd, you know, in at Alice Springs was just exceptional. So, yeah, 50% of the score, 3 to Pickett.
Cozzy Pickett, best on ground. Christian Petrarca, the 2 votes, and Connor Rosie, the 1. As we look ahead, Chew, to round 19, because the games just keep on coming. It looks like the ladders continuing to confuse us. We're not sure what it's going to look like yet. We think, or do you think, before I ask Chew for next week, Ross and Duck, that Melbourne and Geelong are separating themselves a little bit from the rest of the competition?
Yeah, I think they are. I think Sydney's best is very good. You know, I think Sydney, because they've got the key defenders in the forwards and the mid, I think they can really turn it on. Melbourne and Geelong have all the pieces, I think. I think Brisbane, and you hear Mick Moldhouse talk about Brisbane, they don't quite play finals footy, I think. You know, that contested. I think the Dockers are young and growing. They've got still improvement in them. But, yeah, I think the other two are separate themselves. I'm not sure what Duck thinks.
Yeah, I think on any given day, Brisbane are still capable of winning it. And I do Fremantle as well. I think, but everything has to be going their way on the day, and I know that's easy to say, but you certainly trust Melbourne and Geelong more than any of the other teams.
And the spectre of COVID looms over the competition. Let's hope it doesn't get to that, but gee whiz, it's a real wild card going forward, isn't it?
And Chew, as we take a look at the ladder, you think it officially rules out Port Adelaide a chance of making finals? They are still only a game out, but it's game and percentage, and there are still 4 other teams ahead of them, really, with 4 games to go.
You look at their next 3 for Port Adelaide, Joey. They played Geelong at the Adelaide Oval, Collingwood at the G, and then Richmond at home.
5 games to go, of course, so it's going to be tough for Port Adelaide to make it. Just having a look to round 19, Chew, as we start to look ahead, starting with a beauty on Friday night. 2 teams vying for a top 4 spot.
Not often these 2 teams play at Marvel. Richmond take on Fremantle, 4 versus 8. 4th versus 8th, I should say. That's next Friday night. And then we have on the Saturday, North Melbourne versus Hawthorn down in Tassie. Sydney at home to the Crows. Port Adelaide, as we discussed, versus Geelong at the Adelaide Oval. And the Q Clash, Brisbane versus the Suns. That's on the Saturday night. And then we've got the Bulldogs, Joey, taking on the Demons. Saturday night at Marvel Stadium. And then flicking over to the Sunday, Carlton versus the Giants at home. Important game for the Blues, obviously. Collingwood, who've won 8 in a row, they take on the Bombers at the MCG. That's the game that Triple M will be broadcasting at 3:20, and then the final game to close out the round is West Coast taking on St Kilda at Optus Stadium.
Some big games there, isn't there? Bulldogs Demons is a big one for the Bulldogs, obviously.
Yep, some teams trying to fight for a spot in that top 8 as well. Of course, stay with us because straight after this, not far away, we're going to go to Marvel Stadium to take the second half of Essendon v the Gold Coast Suns. Tim Solly will call the socks off that with Will Ralston. Josh Bruce, the Bulldog player who returned on the weekend, back in the side. He's in the commentary box with Mickey Roberts, Ethan Meldrum and Nat Yanidis. Stu, before we go to that game and take the second half, just a bit of a comprehensive look at the numbers and what's happened in the first half, and a big lead to the Bombers by 30 points.
Yeah, 9-10-64 Essendon. Suns at 5-4-34. Major